Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the QLads channel. We are back for another match of the Rugby World Cup. This one, Japan versus Argentina. There's a lot on the line for these two sides, as whoever walks away with the victory here will be making their way through to the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. We have currently got 6 out of the 8 sides confirmed. Wales have confirmed their spot in the very first quarter, and the winner of this game will be going head-to-head with the Welsh Island versus New Zealand, another game that has been confirmed. England will be taking on either Fiji or Australia. We will know that by the last game of today. And then France versus South Africa to close out the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. But we have had a few interesting games take place so far in the world of rugby. That is the right week. We saw 73-0 for New Zealand in the opening contest of the weekend. France getting themselves a comfortable win over the Italians. Wales winning. England narrowly sneaking that game up against the Samoans. And then Ireland getting themselves a convincing win over the Scottish on the scoreboard, 36 points to 14. We've got these games back to back to back. We are covering them all on the channel as well. But I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you're excited for this contest to find out exactly who will be making their way through to the quarterfinals. Inagake, Shotohore, and Jiwon-gu will be the front row here for the Japanese. Cornelsen at 4, and then Amato Fakatava at number 5. Now, the man started off his Rugby World Cup in emphatic fashion, scoring himself 2 tries. Now, at the moment, try scoring tally-wise, 2 is actually not enough to put you in about the top 10. I believe Arundel, Darcy Graham, those are 2 of the men who are right at the top alongside Damien Pinot, who has been scoring plenty of tries throughout the competition as well. Michael Leach is at number 6, of course, a huge amount of experience under that man's belt, with Peter Labaskachny at number 6, or at number 7, and Kazuki Himeno as the number 8. Naito Saito to start at 9 with, it will be Rakia, Matsuda at number 10, Nakamura and Dylan Riley as the midfield. Fafita out on one wing, Matsushima out on the other, and then Lameki, a man who I believe was the best on the field for Japan in their last contest. He is playing at fullback once more. We have got in the chat there, Japan from South Africa, says Tatiana, and also, hey, good to see you, mate. Says Dylan, it is good to see you too. Did you hear what happened to the Ramphurly Shield? I did. It was an interesting scenario, wasn't it? But that is why you have someone who's in charge of the Shield who's not a part of the team, because or else then that kind of thing happens. It's similar to what we saw for Super Rugby Aotearoa when the Crusaders won it and then the trophy got destroyed. So you got to make sure you're being a little bit more smart with it rather than just chucking it to any random bloke who's had a few bevies. We have got Deo High All. I have a bit of a headache from the beer and cheering on Ireland last night. Should be a good game. I picked Argentina, but I'm not sure, says Brian. And that's the thing. Argentina, they are the favourites going into this game. I feel like Japan, though, they do have the ability of causing an upset here. And that is the exciting aspect of this game, is it's probably the most 50-50 game of the weekend, I would almost say. With the exception, maybe, of Fiji-Portugal. It could be a relatively close game, that one, but yeah, I think this game could go down to the wire, and hopefully it is a very entertaining one. I'm rooting for Japan. Banzai says Edward there, and also 6:27 a.m. in the USA, says Robert, so a nice early morning start for yourself, and I hope you had some good sleep. I got some sleep. I wouldn't say it was that good, but I got some, which is the good starting point. Throughout this Rugby World Cup, we have had a bit of that, though, of the just sleeping in between editing and whatnot. Prediction, says Mr. Skits. I am going with an Argentine win here, but I think Japan are going to make it really tough for them. In fact, I would say split by less than 10, if not even split by less than 5 between these two teams. They're both at their moments throughout Pool B, Pool D, I should say, looking at the table, the way that it sits. As you can see, Argentina and Japan both sitting on the 9 points in their favour. 2 wins and the 1 loss, both losing to England, who are in the perfect 4 from 4. So both beating Samoa, both beating Chile, and now one of them is to walk away with the victory over the other. Now, I should mention, if the head-to-head ends up as a draw, it will be Argentina who go through on points differential, so they would still keep their spot at number 2. So it's pretty much Japan have to win this game. Or, if there's somehow a way of them getting a bonus point without the Argentines getting the bonus point, then they would be the side who sneak through if it is a drawn scenario. But I mentioned about those odds. Argentina at the moment sitting $1.18 and then Japan sitting $4.60 underdogs, which I believe is a little bit too high. I think this game is, to be honest, probably about a 60-40 in favour of Los Pumas. And Japan have shown throughout this Rugby World Cup, when they get it right, they are a hard side to be able to stop. In the chat, we have got the MMA plays cricket for my club. He is playing team next week. Who has a bowler who got 6 wickets and 5 overs. Geez, he is starting off his season well then. Because I think we've got our first game next weekend. But that is concerning because I think we've got like 7 players, if that. So we might be a little bit short in the old cricket department. We have got there, you better get more sleep when you can. Says Simran, yeah, although the World Cup has learnt or has taught me that sleep is good, but not actually as crucial as I thought it was. Which is, of course, anyone who is listening, be sure to get plenty of sleep. But I thought that my body and my brain didn't function off less than like 8 hours. But turns out I can function off like 2, like 3 nights in a row. Honestly, I'd be happy with either side winning. I love both sides equally. Going to be a good game, says Kyle. Which software do you edit with? I do use Filmora just because it's nice and easy and it doesn't cause too many problems for me so far. And Hamish, if no one is watching, what is your prediction for this one? Says Cobra, I would still say Argentina by 5, but I think it will be very close. And like I said, Japan, I think, could easily sneak themselves the victory here. Thoughts on South Africa versus France next week? Should be a very good game. Interesting. See what type of selections they do go with. My dad's team is hosting my team one of the NPC semi-cup finals, says Heath. So that would mean that Hawke's Bay got the comeback, did they, over Bay of Plenty? I know they were down by about 14 points at one point. From Third World Country, is this live? Says Fire 2. It is indeed live. And also, we have got, does 20 points worth in penalties considered as a bonus point? No, not on the score. Well, on the scoreboard it looks like it, but on the technicality table, it means that you do miss out. My heart is with Japan in this one, says Timid. I think that everyone's of that same mindset that Japan have done enough over their last few games that they do have a chance in this one. And like I said, I think it's going to be the closest game in terms of head-to-head of the weekend. Looking through at some of the statistics for these two sides. First of all, for Japan, their recent fixtures. They did have that win over the Samoans, 28 points to 22, winning it by 6, but they dug deep in the later stages. A big part of that game was Lameki at number 15, the way he was able to work with his teammates, having over 100 running metres, certainly helping them over the line. Then they had their game up against England. They were a bit lackluster in that contest, but they did have the same trend. And there was a trend for Pool D that happened quite often, which was, depending on what your result was in your first game, however many points the opposition scored against you was how many you then conceded in your next game. Samoa had the exact same trend. I think Chile may have even had... No, Chile had a worse trend because they were conceding a lot more points. But Japan and Samoa, they did have that same trend of slowly... I guess there were similarities. And I feel like that is why Pool D has been so intriguing, is because I think that it's been a 4-horse race. Samoa up against England, almost pulling off the victory last night. That would have got them an automatic World Cup qualification. They weren't able to do so though. Just missing out by the point. For Argentina, they had their first game where they did score the 10 points and then they conceded 10 in their next game. So breaking the trend a little bit, getting themselves that win, 19 points to 10 over the Samoans. That game up against England, they did not concede a try, so that is a bonus, but they did concede 9 penalties or drop kicks throughout the rest of the 80 minutes. 59 points to 3, or 59 points to 5, was the win for Argentina over Chile in their last game. So coming off momentum, whereas for Japan, they did sneak their win over the Samoans, but they have had a rest week, or have they? I think they might have actually played, it was early last week, so that is why it feels like a while. So almost about a week and a half since we have seen the Japanese in action for this Rugby World Cup comp. They won 38 points to 28. How many Instagram followers do you have today? Says Rudy, I think we moved up to about 93, which is pretty impressive. Seeing as before that live stream yesterday, I think we were on about 60 and we hadn't posted anything on there. And we still haven't as of yet, but one day we will. Best commentary for rugby lovers the world over. Decided, I love your dedicated passion for the game, says Arthur. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. And also we have got there, Go Japan, says Anori and Japan have a good chance, says Anne-Marie, and Japan 27, Argentina 12. And that is my most realistic prediction. And the thing is, it could be a reality. If we see the Argentina side show up that played up against the English, I think that they weren't quite as clinical as they would have liked to be, so Japan could easily score a few tries throughout this fixture. I honestly feel like both of these sides, they're either going to get a bonus point for being within 7, or we are going to see a bonus point for both teams scoring 4 or more tries. One moment. We'll quickly sneeze to start the day off with one. There we go. Wouldn't be a live stream without a sneeze at the start of it. Good afternoon all. At least our Springbok supporters can relax and enjoy an Argentinian win, says Colin. Yeah, of course, confirming their spot for the Springboks in that quarterfinal up against France. And this one, whoever wins this will be going head-to-head with Wales, who are actually on the other side of the draw than the Springboks. I think I've got it. Here we go. So, these are how the tables or the fixtures shape up from here on out. That's without the quarterfinals being included. So we do know that Wales, or the winner of this game, will go head-to-head with the winner of New Zealand or Ireland in their quarterfinal. That will become the semi number 1. In the second one, it is England and Fiji or Australia. One of those 3 sides will be going head-to-head with the winner of France versus South Africa. So we could actually see the World Cup final take place as a quarterfinal in this one. So it's going to be interesting. And then, of course, whoever loses both those games goes head-to-head in the 3rd, 4th playoff game. And then the final, 20 days' time. It's getting a little bit too close. It's starting to get real now. We're up to the playoff games. I'm getting nervous for all the sides. I'm hoping we get some very good matches. And the big thing here for these 4 games, for the 4 quarterfinals, we just want some consistency with the refereeing. That would be ideal. If we can get that, we'll have no problems whatsoever. But we don't want what we had yesterday, which was a lot of confusion amongst what decisions are going to be made. Today has been a long, long, long day. And hey, boys and girls, says good. It is hugely appreciated you're still tuning in, mate, even after working that 12-hour shift. As the suit dry clean for next week, says Blindside. It certainly is. It will be nice, rearing to go. For that one, do you live in 2019? Says Erwin. Sometimes I wish I did, because I didn't get to cover the last World Cup. I actually started the channel in 2020. So, yeah, it was a shame that we didn't really get a chance to do that one. But we have got a new channel member as well from Arthur. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. And I've been to Japan, says Connor. And Ireland will win the World Cup. And also we have got the Kieran emojis from JP. And I think Argentina will win because they are stronger and muscled, says Connor. Although Japan, I think the benefit that they've got is when their set piece is working, it is very smooth. Same can be said about Argentina. It's quite a surprise that they did go with Santiago Herreras in the starting lineup rather than Nicolas Sanchez. I feel like I should have slept at some point, says Kurt. It might have been strategic, but you'll be able to sleep theoretically if you don't want to miss any rugby. There is a gap of about 2 hours and 45 minutes, somewhere around there in between the next 2 games. And you could almost afford to sleep during Tonga and Romania if you really wanted to as well. Because it is going to be 2 sides playing off the 4th, so it doesn't change the quarterfinals. But still going to be a good game. And nice to meet you, says Connor. Nice to meet you too. And Argentina 43-12. And good evening, brother. Well, this should be an interesting match. Look forward to the live comms, says Flander. He's got the Christmas emoji. That's the thing, that Christmas emoji. We added it last year for Christmas. We never took it away. And now we are actually closer to Christmas than not. So it kind of makes sense. To be honest, I have a feeling the score will be 27-12. Just a gut feeling, says Irvin. We also do the Fiji versus Portugal commentary, says Cody Garbrandt. We will indeed. And we have got Tonga versus Romania as the next one that is coming around the corner. But we are doing all of the commentaries of every game of the Rugby World Cup. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Argentina and Tonga will win, says JP. And hi, Hamish, hi all, says Jacqueline. Hopefully you did enjoy your birthday yesterday as well, Jacqueline. Hopefully it all went well. And you're excited for 3 more games of rugby. I'll be honest, I woke up, my voice is going to probably be disappearing by the end of maybe even this stream, let alone the 3. My throat is not flash, but there's still rugby to be covered, and there's still another 11 games left of this Rugby World Cup competition. Argentina would have a point to prove here. Japan can't just walsh in. Explain more about the purpose of fighting to the end, says Fire 2 in there. And hi, Jack, says good. And also, let's go with the Flanders Christmas emoji. And of course, I see 37.1, says Robert. Yeah, the channel has been growing massively. A random question: have you ever considered at any point there is such a thing as North and South Island style rugby in New Zealand? I mean, maybe. I feel like they're relatively similar because they both enjoy that running rugby compared to, I guess, I'm trying to think of a team in New Zealand that does more of a kicking game, and I can't really think of one. To be honest, I think a lot of them do prefer to be on attack and just continuing to just charge and honey and lemon water. Mate, says Kerr. And thank you, my birthday was amazing. I'm now waiting for the big 5-0, says Jacqueline. And the number one ranked sides going into World Cups usually don't win, says Blackhand. And New is the number 2 in the standing Pool A. Or New Zealand is the number 2 in standings for Pool A, says Connor. They are indeed. And also, we've got Islanders peaking at the right time, says JP. Yeah, massive winning streak for the Irish. At the moment, they are just talking about the fact that it is the final Pool D match. 24 degrees Celsius is what this game is going to be played in. So actually nice conditions, and hopefully that is the case for not just these games, but also for the quarterfinals, the knockout games. Further points from there, but Kazuki Himeno now leading his Japanese side off the field. His next week knockout stage, it certainly is. So it is going to be massive. Wales versus the winner of this game is the first contest. Ireland versus New Zealand, the second game of that day. And then Fiji or Australia versus England. And then alongside that, the last game of the weekend will be France versus South Africa. Need to back to fly. Hamish can't stop listening to your commentary. From Cape Town, says Goldberg. I'm very tired. Started work yesterday morning. Awake all night for the rugby. Went straight to work today. Just finished now. Time for more rugby. Other than that, I'm spiffy, says Kerr. Now I start to wonder whether or not some of your purchases, Kerr, are from sleep deprivation rather than, I guess, a sane mind. Like, you're like, how many hours deep I've been awake? Like 40 or so at this point. So a big unknown, a week lies ahead, says Irvin. And also I would love to see that pointless game of Tonga versus Romania. Well, the thing is, it's not so much a pointless in terms of their contest. It's just more like in terms of the quarterfinals, it can't change anything. So it's more of a technicality game, but a game that will mean a lot to both sides because it would be their first win of this Rugby World Cup competition. So a big unknown week lies ahead, says Irvin. It certainly does. Eager to see what the officials will do today, says Justin. I'm going to watch Ireland at 3 a.m, says Connor. And there. So, been awake for a while now. Arriving in Japan in the morning, says Kerr. So you will either arrive to a very happy look in Japan if they get themselves the victory here over Argentina, or a Japanese side that I'm sure will be full of pride for what they've been able to do throughout this Rugby World Cup. Los Pumas, they will be looking to sneak the victory here. Looking through at some of the other information we have got, ladies and gentlemen, for this round of the Rugby World Cup. I did mention about those results that we did see throughout the earlier stages of week number 5, but round 4, this is where some of the interesting results started creeping in, and some pretty one-sided results along the way as well. But as you can see, Argentina getting themselves that comfortable win over Chile, 59 points to 5. Japan winning over the Samoans, 28 points to 22. And I think that Argentine game, that is actually where those points differential stats really came into it for Los Pumas, because I believe they've got about a 30 or 40 point advantage over Japan at the moment. And that game pretty much would have done that for them on the table, the way that it sits. Argentina with that plus 46 compared to Japan, who have got the plus 14. But points differential will not come into this game unless we do get a draw. The winner of this game, no matter what, will be making their way through to the next stage in the Rugby World Cup to face top of the table Wales. Now, so far throughout this Rugby World Cup competition, we have 4 teams that are undefeated. All 4 of those sides are part of the Six Nations. New Zealand losing a game. South Africa losing a game. Australia, well, they lost more than one. They've lost 2 so far, almost costing them their Rugby World Cup, depending on what happens for Fiji and Portugal. So the Six Nations sides finding their momentum a lot earlier in the competition than the Southern Hemisphere. But at the end of the day, as long as you're in those playoff games, that is all that matters. If you can make it to that stage, then you still have a chance of going on and winning the competition. We have got, I hope Argentina will win, or Japan. That will be a great game. I still can't believe how much they screwed up the draw for this tournament, says Maniac. Yeah, it certainly wasn't quite what they would have liked I guess overall, they probably didn't anticipate so much of a change in the top of the standings, but they should have, because I feel like rugby's slowly getting closer and closer, and they have mentioned they are going to fix it for next time that they have the Rugby World Cup draw. They're going to try and make it a little bit closer in terms of to the Rugby World Cup start date. Scotland bounced back yesterday, sadly lost though, and Argentina and Japan will be on at 7 p.m. Says Connor, and also go Japan, you deserve this win. South Africa from Cape Town. Says Goldberg, my teams are all Romanian guys in board, so I'll be on for it, says Kerr. And also, how is it crazy? I can't keep up, says Fire 2, and I hope Argentina will win, and Japan that win, or that will be a great game, says Connor. I've been watching the cricket and rugby, not much sleep at all, says Blackhand. And oh yes, I'll be turning 50 with the next World Cup. Hamish, great time for you to visit South Africa with all your fans. Oh, Loftus for my birthday, Bry. Maybe Loftus will be small, says Jacqueline. In Southern Hemisphere, less teams, more games equals greater synergy, says Arthur. And imagine we repeat 2019. I mean, they do say history repeats itself, says Erwin. Don't they say history never repeats itself? Isn't that the saying? Isn't it never repeats rather than repeats? But I can see what you're saying, although it's slightly different for them, of course, this time, seeing as they didn't lose to New Zealand in the group stage. They instead lost to Ireland, which could be a side that they come head-to-head with in the final. They cannot meet in the semis, which means the door is still wide open for a, let's say, Ireland-South Africa final, a New Zealand-France final, New Zealand-South Africa. All of those options are still available when I watch the game. I usually mute the TV, says Cody. And Italy is out. Have a great day, says Connor. And I'm Welsh and with Japanese family, so a quarterfinal with them would be great, says Robinson. Rankings, there's a 3-point gap between France and Ireland. There's less than 1-point gap between France and South Africa. And there is a 2-point gap between South Africa and New Zealand, says JP. And always repeats, says Amy. Am I thinking of a song? I think there's a song that just says history never repeats. And the guy tells himself before he goes to sleep, or something along those lines is what he says. Did you manage to get a bit of sleep today? I remember no singing your new catchy tune during the live stream, says Kerr. I managed a few hours in between all the madness. I got the editing done for Fiji versus Portugal. Still went to bed later than I would have liked, but I must have slept relatively well because my throat is destroyed at the moment. So I'd say that I might have been snoring a bit because I was catching up on sleep. Crowded house, it might have been. Split ends, says Nov Mum. And also, evening, Brother Hamish, how are you, mate? I'm doing very well, mate. Hope you are doing the same. And I have my TV loud. I like to hear the crowd and atmosphere, says Black Can. I need money, and yeah. And the other thing. Good morning from a sunny, happy part of Wales in the middle of England, says Fleshin. So, question, Fleshin. I know that you're a modest man, and you're an honest man too, so this will work well. But who would you rather face in the quarterfinals, Japan or Argentina? As a Welshman, what would you say is your preferred bout? Don't make a fool of yourself. And rise and shine, rugby fans, 4 a.m. in San Fran Bay Area, says Richard. Geez, you are starting early, that is for sure. And imagine if France, Ireland, England and Wales are in the semi-finals. It'd be a Six Nations knockout, says Brian. It would be massive for the Northern Hemisphere, that is for sure. See here the Argentinian side making their way out of the tunnel and ready to go for this monumental contest. Looking through at the Japanese starting lineup, it will be Kita Inagaki at number 1, Shota Hori at 2, and Jiwangu slotting in as the number 3, Jack Cornelson and Amato Bakatava as the number 5, Michael Leach at 6, Peter Labaskachny at number 7, and Kazuki Himeno at number 8. He is a dangerous individual when he gets space. And also in the breakdown, I believe that is where he's going to look to get most of his work done throughout this exciting game. Saito will be starting at number 9 with Matsuda at number 10, Nakamura and Dylan Riley as the midfield combination. Now, no Mazirewa this week for the Japanese in the starting lineup. Instead, it is going to be Fafita out on the one wing, Matsushima out on the other, and then Lamalo Lameki, man who did absolutely brilliantly in his last contest. We'll be looking to replicate that for this game. For Argentina, it is Thomas Gasho, Julio Montoya, and then Francisco Gomez. Cordella, Guido Pitti, and Thomas Lavanini will be the locking duo. Pablo Matera, Marcos Crema, and Juan Martin Gonzalez. That is a strong, formidable, loose forward trio, and I believe Juan Martin Gonzalez could be the key out of those three for the Argentines. Gonzalo Bertrano back into the starting lineup at number 9 rather than Tomas Cubelli, and then also back into the starting lineup it is Santiago Herreras rather than Nicolas Santos, Santiago Chochabarez and Lucio Cinti in the midfield. Mateo Carreras out on one wing, Emiliano Boffelli out on the other, and Juan Cruz Malia at number 15. Those are the starting lineups for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. We have got there England, says Flesh and Fur. We'd rather play in the semi-final. England will play Australia, says Connor. It should be an entertaining game. And probably Japan, says Amy, and history never repeats. Split ends, says Dave Morse. I need money to buy the new jersey for South Africa, and it's $1,000. I ain't paying for that, says Irwin. And as a Welsh man, you should cheer for your brothers and Chubat, the biggest Welsh community outside Britain, says McCowan. How's it, bro? Says Andrew Neal. Welcome in, mate. And what's been your favourite sporting moment in general in your lifetime? Oh, I'll tell you what. It's very hard to remember what happened last week with the amount of rugby we've covered. I'll be honest, there's been some big moments. We've covered a lot on the channel as well, which is kind of it's cool the fact that for some of the biggest moments in recent rugby history, we have been live on the channel doing the commentary for them. Samoa in the sevens beating New Zealand in a drenched Cape Town was a pretty awesome moment for the Manu Samoans. Fiji getting themselves the win over Australia, that was a monumental feeling for them. Winning over England, that was a huge one, and that was quite recently that it did happen. But if they were able to repeat that in the quarterfinals, I feel like that would probably top that last time. We have got there, which currency is that? Says Kieran, Owen Farrell got a bad tackle against our Welsh team, is horrible. Says Connor, and history never repeats, I tell myself before I go to sleep. And also, did you throw any chair parts out the window today? Not quite, no. I sadly didn't get a chance to assemble it, but I feel like I'm going to be sitting on it throughout the week. As this chair, it's still brutal on the spine, I've noticed. And I am supposed to be playing cricket next weekend, I think, before the quarterfinals as well. So, yeah, I got to be able to walk. Would be quite nice. I'm going to boycott all the companies whose ads interrupt your commentary, says Dylan there. And honestly, both teams will cause us problems. I love Japan, and I'm sat here in a Japanese shirt and would prefer not to play them, says Fleshin. And also Dane here from South Africa. Good luck to both teams. May the best team win. Would love to see Japan pull it off. They deserve it, says Dane. And there from third world country, the rest of you donate, says Fire2. And also, hi, mate, says Regine. Welcome in, mate. And you hardly sleep and you eat a banana for breakfast. What level of sorcery is this? I think it's just people always say, it's because you're young. So I think that's the only thing that stops me from falling asleep on streams. But yeah, I might have an ice cream after this. I feel like this would be a well-earned ice cream. Not after this game, of course, after the weekend of rugby is finished. After we've finished the 3 games, we're also filming a podcast, then doing a couple other videos. I think I'm going to sleep in about 24 hours by the time I finish all the editing. But after that, I'll have an ice cream. I hope you get some sleep. Thanks for the live coverage, says Regine. And also, some stores sell them for 350 Rand or 250. But I'm still a big fan, not paying that. Says Irwin, it could be a draw and Japan go through. Score 4 tries versus 3 for Argentina and get the bonus points, says Brian. It is a technicality. They could have a mango ice cream. I don't know if we've got any local mango ice cream. Or even the supermarket may not have any, which is very sad. But I'll have a look. I would say history reflects a pattern, says Fire2. And oh boy, loads of pubs here in Japan charging for us to go in and watch, says April. I'm sure there's going to be a massive atmosphere in those pubs because this is a huge game for Japan. This is pretty much the equivalent of a playoff game for the Japanese. If they win this, they go through. If they don't win it, sadly, they will miss out. But they have shown some good fight throughout this Rugby World Cup already. Mango ice cream is absolutely delish, says Sean Lees. Bro, it's All Blacks. I got this World Cup, and you know it too easy, says Todd Smith, and history never repeats, but it rhymes, says Dylan. And also, All Blacks will be heading home next Sunday, say flight. And how many guys in the Kiwi Lads team, says Arthur? Well, there are, theoretically on paper, there are 4. But we haven't actually had any of the other fellows on the channel in probably about 3 or 4 months. And any videos you see edited or uploaded or anything along those lines, it is myself who does that side of things. Although I'm talking to Isaac tomorrow, I think. And we might be getting something organised for next weekend. And agreed, we have a Latin community here. That is large. So it's kind of fun, says April. And I'm from Cape Town. Japan will win, says Julian. And there as well. But the Ben O'Keefe, Paul Williams, all Kiwi panel for this matchup. I think that's the first time I've seen that throughout the Rugby World Cup. 4 officials from the same team that I can think of anyway. Have we had an all-Irish panel before? Me, myself, and I, says Kerr. And there, but the kickoff now is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, for the final game in Pool D in this Rugby World Cup competition. It is kicked off high by the Argentines, who are in their away dark navy kit. And it's a nice driving tackle on Kazuki Himeno to start this contest off. Saito looking to fire this one back into the pocket to Matsuda. Does get the ball into touch. Good clearing kick. And now it will be the line out for Argentina. Mum, help out a bit. Says Arthur, we have had her in a couple videos recently. Yep. And Dad as well. An Ireland versus South Africa final. Says Dane. And also Japan. Says Mohammed and New Zealand will win the Rugby and the Cricket World Cup. And also it's a Grandiros tribute t-shirt, says Mikhail. And God does not roll dice, said Einstein, says Fire 2. Now rolling more here for Argentina. Rolling quite nicely forward. Japan having to run backwards to try and defend it, but it has been sacked illegally, they have said. So now the advantage in favour of Argentina. Breaking the line here. Choca Barres, what a step that was. He's through. Scores the first try of the contest. Wow. That is quite the start. That's quite similar to what we saw in the Ireland-Scotland game. How the team who were favourite scored the first try, took the wind out of the sails. This was just a classic run from Choca Barres. Hardly touched in his way through. Breaks through one tackle. Steps beautifully round Lamaro. Sorry, not Lamaro. Lameki. And scored the try. And well, says Brian, yeah, that almost made me speechless for that first little stage. And Japan better bite back. Well, that's the big thing for them here. They have to make sure that they fire back quicker than we saw Scotland do in their game. I feel like I want to lie down on my couch for this game. They can be dangerous, says Kerr. Although, if you do end up needing to sleep, Kerr, I would highly recommend it. As someone who has been slightly sleep deprived over this last week, sleep is actually quite good for you, I have heard. One moment, I'm going to sneeze again. We are good. Santiago Choca Barres scoring the first ever try for himself in an Argentinian kit. And the kick is successful as well. So the score now sits 7-0 in favour of Argentina. And boo to sleep, says Kerr. Nicely. Oh, actually, a little bit of miscommunication there from Pablo Matera and Gonzalo Berrano. Both have actually left the ball. Argentina getting a dream start to this contest. Who will Welsh supporters rather face in the quarters, Japan or Argentina? Says, get some vamos Los Pumas, says Chris, and bless you, says Kerr and Goldberg. And there as well. Matsushima on the touchline does decide not to take the quick throw. Now line out for Japan. And they need to fire back quickly. Concentration on the face of Jamie Joseph. Trying to work out what went wrong there. I think it was just a good run from Choca Barres. One missed tackle was all it took for Argentina to bust their way through the opposition. And chick chick bang, says Dylan in the chat as well. A loose ball. Looks like it's going to be cleaned up nicely though by Argentina this time. Berrano going across now to Thomas Lavanini. Taking contact well on the halfway line. Berrano again. Going off now to Lucio Cinti on the outside. I'm supporting Argentina. Hope they cause an upset in the next round. Says Regine. Oh, Boffelli driven backwards to the right-hand side. Little pop pass up there to Agasho. It's always a tricky man to put down. I remember the Rugby Championship a couple of years ago when he got himself 2 tries in one contest. I believe it was up against Australia in a monumental win for Los Pumas. That one has gone into touch once more, just a little bit too wide. It's a knock on by Blue, they've said. Is it possible to do more polls to the live chat, maybe related to any side discussions? Says Dylan, they do have that option if I do get rid of the who do people think will win? So there are little other options. And there's or we can just ask the question, of course, depending on what the question is. Currently 5 minutes in. Michael Checker already looking at his watch. Wondering how much time they've got left. What's good? Chump Stain says Orlin. I guess the rugby is good. That's a weird question, isn't it? Or like a weird way of wording it. I think it's the better way of putting it. Chump Stain. I don't think I've called or been called Chump Stain before. I've been called a lot worse, but Chump Stain's nice. I got Japan by 3, says Orlin. Currently the pack weight, 901 for Argentina compared to the 892 of the Japanese. The reason I say currently, because of course with those subs, there will be a change in the weight. A big push from the Japanese. They get themselves the penalty advantage, and they get the penalty now. I ban that dude, says Philippines. And there as well. And also we've got their scrum penalty against Argentina. Don't see that often, says Geza. Yeah, getting a really good early shove. Side discussion like, would you rather fight a hippo on cocaine or a mongoose on LSD? They have to be the mongoose every day of the week, wouldn't it? Like a hippo's big. And if Argentina wins, it'll be an all-North versus South quarterfinals, says Jeff. That is true. I didn't actually think about that. But yeah, you'd be correct. We'd have 4 sides from the South. Although Japan, even though they're Northern Hemisphere, I know it sounds weird to say, but I still kind of consider them as South, only because like in the Rugby Championship, if they get added, it'll feel like they are a part of that Southern Hemisphere side of things. But yeah, geographically, Argentina would want to walk away with this game to make it North versus South. We have good there. It'll be a draw, says Cobus. And is Drew Peacock playing for Argentina, says Liam. Drew Peacock. I feel like that's not a bad name, is it? The Boffelli going through. Up to the halfway line. Good low tackle made on him by Nakamura. Now sling and pass off to the left-hand side. It looked like a knock on there from Bertrand, wasn't it? And got you. But it's just like Peacock's an animal, isn't it? Like, it's not bad, I don't think. That's why I read it out. I was like, this is timid if it is something bad. And I always support North versus South, says Chris, and let's go Argentina. No, they are Northern. Says, listen, I am in chat. Come on, Argentina. As a Springbok fan, All Blacks must forget for taking the World Cup because we're still there, says Zukisani. And also, that's right, Jeff says, Brian, I would rather have 1 10 times or 10. I put them 2 words together. It's just, like, I can only think of Drew Mitchell, to be honest. Like, I just thought you were combining, like, Drew Mitchell and David Pocock. But I feel like I said it with enough of a gap that it doesn't quite work as Drew P, you know, because of, I kind of said the emphasis on Drew and then the other part. Now going back across. Now Matsushima nicely taken down inside of the own half. Naito Saito. And Argentina by 5, says Patrick. I like 10 times. Represents a level of enjoyment and commitment. I feel like, says Kerr there. And I says Stefan, welcome in. And Japan is a southern hemisphere on a flat earth model, says Cobra. Now box kick from the Japanese. 40 metres out, nicely taken there by the youngster, Mateo Carreras. He has had quite the 2023 as well. Berrano going back across to the right-hand side. It's going to be put high by Carreras. Japan by 9. Says Stefan. That's nicely taken by Boffelli. Couldn't find his offload, though, and shut down by Amato Fakatava. Currently, Argentina definitely having a lot more of the possession throughout this first 9 minutes or so, which is flying by Berrano, sling and pass to the middle of the field for Francisco Gomez Cordella. Now the back line for Argentina firing again. Are you all good, bro? Ireland, South Africa. I heard it here. Irish going all the way. Tough skin is good. There's all in. Kicked him behind. Knock on there from, I believe that was actually Lameki. Now, that is something that we did not see last week. He did not make pretty much any mistakes. And now already having a couple, missing the tackle early that led to that first try, Santiago Chocobarez. And also now dropping the ball at the back. I can't watch the game on TV, but prefer your coverage in the chat. says Regine. Yeah, it's hugely appreciated you guys who do decide to stick with the channel, even when you've got the option of watching. Yeah, it is greatly appreciated. We're still here for the next 10 games after this one, which will take us right through to the Rugby World Cup final. Did you at least get some sleep? I got a little bit. Snuck a few hours. Another penalty this time going to Japan in the breakdown. Number 3 side entries from Francisco Gomez Cordella. Would you rather fight a South African wild boar on acid or a Brazilian badger on crack? I mean, I'd like to see how they both react to it first. I think would be a good, like a strategic business move. Even when you're in a stadium, I should be here for commentary, says Kurt. Yeah, we've had a few people do that before, Kurt, haven't we? Or the first ever, of course, that Leinster versus La Rochelle final, which didn't go well for Leinster, unfortunately, in that match. And by the way, this is probably the only time I support Kiwi. Kiwi lad, says Regine. Although that's the thing, like, if, like, we are, I guess, not a typical, I guess, All Black supporter, if that makes sense. Like, I just love watching all the teams play, so we are impartial even during All Blacks matches. So I guess that's probably why you slightly tolerate me, maybe. And good morning, Amish. Go the Pumas, says Go Travel Planet. I got the game on too, but enjoy your commentary, says Geza. Now Japan slinging pass from Kazuki Himino, only the little flat pop pass, which almost was a little bit too far in front. Saito with the no-look kick in behind. Finds Lamiki's hands, who's trying to finish it so that they get on the highlight reel. Kazuki Himino round the side of the breakdown. 3 meters out now for the Japanese. Going to the right, skip pass. Out to Michael Leach, who almost dropped the ball, but somehow managed to regather in time. Now Lamiki tackled 5 meters out. Puma's under pressure here. Saito gets it off now to Kita Inagaki. Now Mato Fakatava, like I mentioned, scoring 2 tries up against the Chileans. Hasn't really scored a huge amount since Saito knocks the ball on 5 meters from the line. That was the half chance that they needed, but they weren't able to get the job done. All Blacks Springbok final. It's been 28 years. Rugby needs it, says Chris. And also, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck? Well, I think either way I'd lose. So I guess just 1 big duck horse would be better, because if you're on land, you might, but ducks are quick when they get going, aren't they? So they start flapping those wings and get a little bit of the hovering like they're playing ice hockey, and she's a tough day at the office. And Dan says Philippines far out. That was a Maradona kick, says O'Brien. And your thoughts on the Ireland versus Scotland, bro? Says Sam, I think that Ireland, they did what they needed to on attack. They didn't actually have a huge amount of possession throughout that game. I think it was the first time that a side has not had more than 50% possession and has won a game. So that was, I guess, a pretty big moment for the Irish. Scotland on attack looked strong. They just couldn't quite break through that last chance or that last line of defence that they needed. Do you think Argentina is starting to drop off in pace of the Rugby Championship sides after the initial progress they've shown the years after joining, says Kerr? I think that this year's Rugby Championship, we saw Argentina do pretty decently at times. Like, of course, they beat Australia, which is something that a lot of sides had the honour of being able to do. They almost beat the Springboks. But yeah, in terms of the way that they started this Rugby World Cup, they just didn't quite get off to the big start that they needed. In very good opinion, cheers. Says Sam, and evening, Hamish, says Tar. And Hamish, never F a duck, or never F with a duck, says Brian. You know, that's probably a fair statement, because those things are quick. It's like gooses, except the goose normally make a bit more noise, don't they? They normally really honk at you. I almost got attacked by a magpie the other day. I know that that's completely unrelated to anything to do with the rugby, but it's true. It tried to swoop on me. I have to confess, to getting a bit pissed last night after watching England struggle yesterday, says Fleshin. And also Hamish Bro prediction for the New Zealand versus New Zealand versus Ireland game. I think we did actually predict that it would be New Zealand-Ireland in the quarterfinals. I can't remember what my score prediction was, but I think it was only split by like 3 or so. You are cool. The fact you are better than some of the TV commentators. Or in fact, says Regine, thank you very much. Feels like Argentina in the same situation as Italy in the Six Nations. Can we mention Chloe again today, says Chris. Well, she's not here at the moment by the looks of it. She might be still asleep. Although saying that in South Africa, it is like 1 p.m, isn't it? A swan can break your arm with its neck. This may look graceful, but they are savages, says Geza. Yeah, nah, swans, they've got like that. Yeah, they're kind of like a giraffe. Not really. I feel like that's never going to be a quote that is used again. Swans are kind of like giraffes, just on water. Tell you what, put that on a t-shirt, eh? Chloe is under the table. Hamish sneezing. Code for he's feeding. No. No, there's no room under there. I got too much other stuff lurking. It's quite funny though, because after you guys were talking about Russian brides and whatnot yesterday, I got an email today from like a spam account thing. So that was probably due to that. Geese are terrifying. I'm a cat killed a magpie at the start of the summer. Left it on the sofa, says Fleshin. Your cat is a savage as well. And no, Magnus today, please. Or mangoes, I think that is. Apologies for language. They are bad. Which isn't quite what you said, is it? But I PG-ified it. I'm a cat. I know I read that one. It's like a giraffe on head slinging ability. And please come here. I'll come have a kai at the dog. I might dime before I leave. At the dog. Whereabouts is the dog, Sam Steele? Dog. Is that near me? Magpies, crows? That's a good question. Not quite. Not quite. They're a little bit different. They're just a little bit more feral, I'd say, than a crow. Now it's kicked him behind by Juan Cruz Malia. Sits up nicely here for the Japanese to launch the counter-attack. Kazuki Himeno off to Michael Leach. Finds his offload away to Amato Bakatara. It's all forwards. Our white for Japan with the chip and chase. Chasing after it. It's going to sit up for him. He's through. Fakatava try of the competition for the Japanese. All forwards. No backs involved. And what a try from Amato Fakatava. I mean, I said he hadn't scored for a while, and that's quite a way to bring it back up, isn't it? Geese have been documented to have killed people. A guy was attacked while swimming and died. Says Philippines. I may need to come clean about the rest or the next curve package. And an email to you, says Kerr. Amato Fakatava, the chip, and then manages to clean it up. I have to say, Santiago Carreras, he was in a losing battle there because it was either get nailed by a big lock or let him catch the ball and then get nailed by him. And he took it both times. That sounds dodgy. I swear, you just said what I try, but it may have been a gentleman's name. Yeah, it's Amato Fakatava. It does sound a bit like it, doesn't it? To be fair. And wow. Like they've said, to do it when there's a quarterfinal on the line, what a try that is. And the Irish are going all the way home after they play the mighty All Blacks, says Ivo. Also here I've got the Awawi. Now, Matsuda lines up the kick and it has gone over now, making the score 7-all after 17 minutes now, ladies and gentlemen. What a brilliant try, says Brian. But that's the thing. It was Kazuki Himeno who then gave it off to Michael Leach, who then got it to Amato Fakatava. So it was actually 3 Japanese forwards. And it looked like they were the backline. Like they could easily slot into the centres and out on the wing. And it would be dangerous as well. Now, 1 try per team. Of course, both teams, they wouldn't mind a bonus point here for scoring 4 or more tries. But it is not completely necessary. Although, if one team get the bonus point for it and the other don't, and this game is a draw, that will be the team that make their way through. I can't wait to watch Liverpool versus Brighton. And also, not bad try, says Annoy. And does the draw help either team? Only if one of them walks away with a bonus point and the other doesn't. Is he related to Folau Pakatava from the Highlanders? I don't believe so. Although he has played overseas before. He's originally from somewhere other than Japan, I think, Amato Fakatava. So, I don't know. There could be a distant relation, perhaps. That was audacious, says Flesh. And that is a fun name, or fun word, I should say. This mistake, says Macau, but now down the wing, Santiago Shochabares offloads on the inside to Juan Cruz Malia. Now Burrano. On across, Justine, thrown at the line there for Argentina. Burrano, it's a drop ball from Carreras, just a little bit too low for the pass. And Dedison Dog, says Sam Steele. And also Northwest Coast, says Sam. See, I am on the South Island East Coast, out of any location. Can someone tell me what channel the rugby is being played on in Thailand? Or Thailand, sorry. Bellin, perhaps, says Dave Morse. I know that on the Rugby World Cup website you can see whereabouts games are being broadcast, depending on where you are in the world. What I'll quickly do while we've got a scrum reset, because you asked nicely, I'm going to find it for you. Some people just go, where do I watch? Or, hey, and then they'll say a bad word. Where do I watch, depending on where I am? So if you're in Asia, we'll go like this. Where is Thailand? Cook Islands. No, keep scrolling. Thailand. Tonga. South Korea. It's on Kupang. I don't think there's an option by the looks of it, unfortunately. Oh, or is there? It's available in China, Mongolia, Myanmar, South Korea, Vietnam, and Turkmenistan on Rugby Pass TV. That might be your best bet, or there's also BN Sport as the other option possibly, but I would just make sure before getting any sort of subscription or anything like that. That one has gone dead from Argentina, getting too much distance. Love that Argentina jersey, says Ian Foster. And hi, Hamish. This game, I'm a neutral, says Penny. And if Cheika gets to the semis, he has an okay Rugby World Cup record, says Hanoi there as well. Solid bro, I'll be cooking those ways one day. I'll show my appreciation for your commentary over the couple years, says Sam Steele. And how's Chloe, says Arthur. I don't know, she hasn't been here today. And Hamish, you're so sweet, bless your heart, says Jacqueline. And also, hi Hamish. Good to see you, bro, says Laurie. And what happens if the game is a draw? Who will go through? If it's a complete draw and no one has the extra bonus point, or both teams have the bonus point, it will be Argentina who go through due to points differential. But if Japan get themselves 4 tries in a drawing effort with Argentina, it would actually be Japan to go through because they'd have that little bit of an extra boost, if that makes sense. Never been attacked by a magpie. They've been chased by a seal while whitebaiting. I had reeled, and this fish was trying to get Japan, or he was trying to get, sorry. Now, you won't believe me because it sounds like I'm just talking about like random stuff because you mentioned it, but I did actually almost get greeted by a seal the other night when I was fishing. I didn't know that seals kind of hissed, but I was very confused because I was fishing and then I heard like a not quite like that. I looked to the side, seal, and I took a picture of it because, of course, no one would believe me otherwise. So, yeah, there was a seal right next to me. I say that guy's name like a swear word. Says Arjing. And who is Chloe? I thought Hamish was single. I am, yes, but we've had a Chloe in the chat who's been a bit fond of myself. But I think she just likes the commentary. That's going to be the penalty now for Los Pumas. 21 metres out from their own line. Back probably about 23. Lifting is what the penalty is for. Argentina highest on the world rankings, so they'll go through if they draw. Says Sandri, although there are a few things that come before the world ranking. I believe world ranking counts as the 6th tiebreaker. Before that, though, we've got... Where is it? I've got the sheet here as well. One moment. Where did it go? We're going to find it. There it is. So the tiebreakers that we have got before getting to the world rankings. First of all, it is head-to-head. Who won the game? If it's a draw, then it goes on to points difference. If that ends up as a draw, which in this case it cannot, because if it's a draw, that means that Argentina would have more points, so they would go through. Then worst comes to worst, you go on to try difference, points for, tries for, and then Rugby World Ranking is 6th in the overall decision making. You're such a gentleman, says Regine. Hamish's purity, no swear words. And also Funny Island scored 36 against Scotland when it's taken 36 years to have a chance to win a World Cup. Says Laurie, it's stolen there by Michael Leach, so now Japan... Another counter-attack, and that is actually where they were the most dangerous last time when they had the big wingers, well, the big forwards down the wing. Looks like there's an injury here for, I think that's Guido Petty. Currently has got a shoulder injury, looks like the left shoulder. Clamish is your combined ship name, says a bystander. Does kind of sound like you just kind of like choke on your tongue at the start, like Clamish. Oh, it's almost got like a sound to it, doesn't it? You reckon All Blacks can take Ireland, says R.O. Tennis. I think it'll be a good game. I think Ireland, consistency-wise, have shown a lot more potential in terms of they know who they want to go with in their lineup. But in this case, this doesn't sound good for Lapis Labaskachny. Sounds like he might have done a bit of a cheap shot there on Guido Petty. Oh, no, it's actually on. Oh, it's head on head. This is going to be probably at least a yellow card. Thomas Gachot is the player. It is foul play. He could be lower. It's going to be a yellow card threshold here, and that is the last thing Japan wanted. Doesn't matter if Ireland win or not. We are proud of them, says Vinton. A few injuries to Ireland, says Hanoi. And there, who have they lost, Hanoi? Do let me know, because I know that before this game that they had up against Scotland, they had lost Robbie Henshaw as well as Cian Healy. But who else have they lost alongside those two? Do let me know. Gasho, says Mikhail there. And also, Japan are getting better. Because end up a red, says Brian. So it is just a yellow for now for Lapis Labaskachny. But there is a chance that it could be upgraded to a red card. They have got now 8 minutes to make that decision. And yellow card. And he's in the bunker, says Gizza there as well. And Penny Lane having a guess. Means the wider end, I think, says Bruce. And also win by 10. You're talking about an eagle, says Fire 2. And low eye test. Hansen calf and James Ryan wrist test. Says an eye. Yeah, see, James Lowe's eye is an awkward one, isn't it? Because he got a real deep finger in it. Which, yeah, it's hopefully... Do you know when they find out how serious it is, Hanoi? Because I know that they were talking about Mac Hansen, how he passed his HIA, but he did stay off the field afterwards. And sorry, Japan, says Chris, and James Lowe has been cleared, says Gizzo. Okay, so he's all good. And Lewis Kakni was in the bin last week, wasn't he? He's had a few cards. And, yeah, him, Michael Leach, and then also, who's the other fellow who's had a red card recently? I can't quite remember who it was, but I think he was someone in the loose ball trio or in the locking duo. Ended up with a red not too long ago as well. Can't see Geordie or Rico breaking the line next week. So the AB's Lucy's have to keep possession. Looking forward. Seeing Black Gaddaf given a chance, but Kane probably starting, says Laurie. And also that low eye injury was yuck. They showed it close up, says Ian. And also Ireland know what they know. If the ABs can stick hands and not get cards, who knows? Says Sam Steele. But the crowd absolutely loving this contest. We see Japanese fans sitting next to Argentine fans. Both teams have huge passion amongst their fan bases. Yeah, we've currently got a bit of a break here for, I think it's an injury. And good if Lowe is cleared. Has a massive boot, says Hanoi. And also, it looked like pink eye. Says Giza, no, it was just the finger straight through the eye area. Which, like, even touch it. Like, some people can touch their eyeball. I'm not one of those people. Like, I don't like it. I just heard there's a change. The Springboks could be forced to play under a neutral flag for the quarterfinals. Says Go Travel Planet. Very true. Hopefully, they don't have to. Because that's the thing. Like, there's all these other technicalities of if that happens, of if they aren't playing as a country or as a nation per se, like in a World Cup, that kind of is a weird like technicality. Some people are saying they could end up being disqualified from the competition. I hope that that's not the case because the Springboks definitely looking like a top contender in here, so they just need all of what they needed sorted before then so that they don't have to go through that process. We have got their coaches. Secret says Ian Foster, and Lucky Lowe has a spear eye, says a Laurie. I just showing that Amato Fakatava try once more, doing brilliantly. Now 23 minutes in, a yellow card for Labaskachny, and now Emiliano Boffelli lining up the kick from, say, about 48. Yes, it is. 48 metres out on the angle for Emiliano Boffelli. The flag issue has been sorted, apparently, says Chris. So that is good news that hopefully everything is cleared up and there are no issues with it. Hi, what do you think of Ireland's win over Scotland last night? I think it was a good performance overall from Ireland, although, of course, they will want to get more possession in their next contest, although they've shown that even if they don't have a lot of possession, they are still able to get themselves comfortable victories. Because I think at one point they had about 42% possession throughout the game, which is huge in terms of the lack of ball, but they were still able to get themselves that win by quite a comfortable margin. Hi, Laurie. I would love Papa Lee, Artie and Brazil as the Lucy's. Leave Kane out, rather Blackadder off the bench, says Elizabeth. It's just that big question of will Ian Foster do that, though. We will have our lineup prediction for the All Blacks in the near future, and that will be coming out on the channel where we make that kind of decision. I am shows you money on for this game, so I did predict Argentina to win by 5, but I said it could easily go the other way. Oh, this is not good. Pablo Matera knee injury here. And unfortunately, that might be the end of his Rugby World Cup by the looks of how he is limping. It looks like he can't put any weight on that leg. That is an absolutely massive hit for the Argentines. And, okay, it's going to remain as a yellow card as well for that Peter Levaskakny one. Who do you think will take the cup this year? Personally, I think Ireland, but the All Blacks have I had a comeback with a massive bang against Italy, says Zancy. So my prediction from the start of the competition, in fact, before the squads or anything were really announced, I believe my prediction was that I went with South Africa. But, yeah, I think there's still, I said though, I believe it's going to be one of the teams from Pool A or Pool B that walk away with the title. But that leaves you, of course, the top 4 in the world. So I guess that's the easy answer, isn't it? But, yeah, I think, yeah, still a lot of sides in contention. Well done on saying Levaskakny, says Cobra there, and I'll go for Japan. Says Peter, and also Argentine flags from Mariano. And Ireland are physically fit and clever. They know how to play the opposition. That hurts to say it, says Fleshin. Sounds like there might have been a shoulder charge. And there from the crowd's reaction. Now Burrano going after Julio Montoya. But yeah, the big talking point will be whether or not Pablo Matera is able to play in those quarterfinals if Argentina do make it to the quarterfinals. Now Thomas Lavanini tackled low. Argentina, nice step there by Santiago Carreras. Said his ankle's taken out from underneath him, currently still sitting on that halfway line. I should mention that Emiliano Boffelli's kick that he tried earlier on, 48 metres out, did miss. So that is why the score still remains at 7 points to 7. We have got there, many of us are Springbok supporters. I don't give a monkeys, you know what, about this country's flag, says Bruce. And knee injury is probably an ACL injury. I had it against Pal Jim Aina. Says bystander, it's going to be the advantage for offside in favour of Japan. And they will go back now for that penalty. And also, exactly that's what I was thinking with our defence. Says Lorien Poor Hamish. There seems to be a giant Chloe-shaped hole in the chat today, says Christopher DeVette. She seemed to have quite an impact on quite a few people in the chat, didn't she? That sounds like she's died. Well, I hope she hasn't. And endurance might prevail in this game, says Fire 2. And Matera, Crusaders forever, says Sam. Now 7 minutes remaining of Levaskakny's yellow card. Matsuda will be kicking for the touchline. Playing with a man disadvantage here, the Japanese. I'm thinking the TMO should only intervene when requested by the ref or the linesman, says Brian. Yeah, that game between Samoa and England, I feel like the TMO, I'll be honest, was probably a lot more involved than people would have liked. And it kind of completely takes away the free-flowing nature of the game when you've constantly got a TMO going, oh, I've seen something, I want you to check it. Rather than it being the referee who's going, yep, okay, I've seen something, maybe chuck it to you to have a look at TMO. And some like folks, road to 38k subs, says bystander. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got 2 more live streams happening later on tonight. Tonga versus Romania, as well as the other matchup between Fiji and the Portuguese. Japan 15 metres out from the line, getting back up to his feet. Has decided he'll go again here. Kazuki Himeno. Now Saito. His options on the right-hand side. He finds Amato Bakatava, the lone try scorer for the Japanese at this stage of the contest. And we are 27 minutes in. Both sides having some good moments on attack. And Ireland will drown them in Guinness, says Penny Lane. Oh, lined up the drop kick. Well charged down, though, by Marcos Crema. Now Matsushima puts the up and under from halfway. This one's going to be a hard challenge, beautifully taken by Juan Cruz Malia. Finds it off at Julio Montoya. And now Bertrano breaking one tackle. He's trying to link up on his outside. Finds it to Mateo Carreras. And the try is scored by Argentina. Mistake from Japan. Going for a drop kick. Argentina say, you wanted 3, we'll take the 7. Thank you very much. Mateo Carreras, a brilliant player for Argentina throughout this year. Guinness, it's mostly made in South Africa, just saying. Says Kerr, that is sad for any play. I hope it's not serious, says Regine. But Marcos Crema, a lot of credit needs to go to him. He charged down the drop kick attempt from Matsuda. Hit it with his face. And then from there, Japan gave the possession back to Argentina. Juan Cruz Malia doing brilliantly to line up that one under the high ball. Then Montoya with some quick hands to Bertrano, who found Mateo Carreras with him and got the try for Los Pumas. And go to the RGC, Sam Steele, and a fantastic try for sure. Well, Rugby changed the law when Foley kicked the goal last year against the ABs. The game for time wasting, so refs changed their mind after a conversion, says Laurie. It is in the rules, of course, but it just doesn't look good when you see a referee on field say, I'm awarding that as a try, I see nothing wrong with it. And then afterwards a TMO going, actually, we might have a little geeze at this. Because that's the thing, if they came to the conclusion straight away that it was a knock-on, I think it would have been fine. But because they went through the process of referee saying try, whistle blown, all good, and then they switched it, that one has gone away to the side for Emiliano Boffelli, and now 12 points to 7 in favour of Argentina. Great try, says Bystander. A fantastic try for sure, says Brian. In there as well. And I was good morning, France, New Zealand, a massive game. Could even be the game. Our box will be the Everest. I just hope it plays out south versus north. Big rugby, says Obi. And I would like a drinking beer contest now and then, says Faito. A nice tap from Crema. And go the Pumas in the chat as well. Real Rugby Passion here, says Navik. Now with the man disadvantage, so far they have conceded one try here for the Japanese. Kicked off high by Lamano, Lameki I should say. Now Guido Petty not quite taking that one as cleanly as he would have liked, almost run over by his teammate Emiliano Boffelli. And Bertrano going off to Marcos Crema. Got a attack and run from him, taken down low by Kazuki Himeno. Great commentating chap. Always good to tune in, says Chuck T. And also, we have got their miss, keeping the game close, says Brian. Yeah, so far not a lot of kicks have gone over. I think we've seen 2 missed in total and only 2 go over, so 50-50 in that regard. Now, it's going to be a nice pass on the outside from Matsura. Michael Leach taken down. And a little bit of a rough pass from Saito, knocked on by Marcos Crema. Jack Cornelison has to clean it up. To use it there, Saito. Bit of pressure there in the breakdown. Shota Hori just throwing the ball away, and they will go back now for the scrum. And Ireland will be the Cha, says Covis. And also Greens from Cape Town, says Buffalo, and also spelt Sean, says Penny Lane. And also forward pass. Which one you talking? I'm trying to think of which one. I assume it's in the Argentine try, maybe. Or no. Was it Malia's pass to Bertrano, or was it Bertrano's pass to Mateo Carreras? I assume it was that last one. Maybe, and hoping for the Bok. Watching from Cebu, says Brian there, and greetings from Pumulhanga, says Cobus. Hopefully I said that correctly. I know it's a year away, but do we think the Lions tour next year is going to be enjoyable, or a lack of competition to the point it's not interesting, says Kerr. It's going to be an intriguing one, because Australia do need to come a long way in 1 year to be competitive in that British and Irish Lions series. Definitely with the top talent that are around for the Lions at the moment. And hi Hamish, and all you nice people, let's enjoy the chat in the game, says Stahl, stolen back by Argentina there in the breakdown. Now 50 seconds remaining of the yellow card, and Argentina want to strike again before Japan are back to 15. Kicked in behind from Santiago Carreras. Bounces the ball into touch, but it is just outside of the 22. So Japan will have to line out throw. And go the Pumas, says Ian. Should mention whoever wins this game, making their way through to the quarterfinals to take on Wales. And that will be the first of 4 quarterfinal fixtures that we do cover on the channel. Just looking here, these are the ones that are confirmed. New Zealand versus Ireland is one. England versus the winner of, or whether or not it's Fiji or Australia, still to be determined. And then France versus South Africa, the other game that is confirmed. But whoever wins this game goes straight into this match up against the Welsh, stolen at line-out time by Argentina. They have been clinical when it comes to the set-piece defence. Now Berrano of the Julio Montoya. The Argentines, about 25 metres out from the line round the side with the pick and go, was Thomas Lavanini. Now I should mention Matthias Alemano is actually already onto the field. That was due to the injury of Pablo Matera which we do not know the extent of yet, but it did look like some sort of knee injury. Wasn't able to put a lot of pace or put a lot of weight on that leg as he made his way off. Looks like there's another injury here. I think I might have just jinxed it. That's Juan Martin Gonzalez, who is now down. It's going to be going back for a penalty to Argentina, though. And bystander high, says Stahl. And also, as the pace of the mark for both teams any good, or off the mark any good, are they keeping the pressure up? I think so. I think we've seen some pretty decent open play from both teams, as well as like that fast break from Argentina looks dangerous. But then saying that, that was how Japan got their try. Right, they are going to be taking on the 3 points now. Argentina, if the box can get past France, they'll go all the way. Says Christopher, and go Japan, says Ian Boston. Come on, Argentina, says Alberto. And so Wales, Ireland, semi then. Says Daddy, there is a chance that is how it will work out. Yeah, kick to the face of Juan Martin Gonzalez. The worst thing is, I think it was actually his teammate who kicked him in the head. No, I'm thinking of KFC, says Robert. It'll be all right, wouldn't it? Argentina must win this game. They just must, says Ricks. And the British Irons next year, or British and Irish Lions next year, will be all South Africans, Aussies, and ABs. It's not a tour, it's visiting, says Ray. And also that's some special Argentina coloured beard in that crowd. It was an impressive one for that man. He actually went with the streaks right across and discussing the chances of the Lion Tour being uninteresting. Says Kerr, and how are we doing on those mangoes? They still do not have them here. Sadly, I think we've got to wait like 3 or so more months for the mangoes start popping up. Just showing Japan back to 15, Labaskakni, after his yellow card is back out there on the field for the Japanese. I'm sure they'll be very happy to see him now. Still 5 minutes remaining in this first half. And Argentina with that last kick going over. How is this? Not a significant game, says Fire 2. Who said it wasn't Fire 2? The winner of this game goes through to the quarterfinals. So there's a lot on the line. And Himino, one of my favourite players, hard worker, a hard yakker, says Ian Foster. Was that a bug of some sort? You guys see that? I don't know what that was. It was a ghost. And mangoes are so last year, KFC cheesecake on the trend, says Fluffy. There is something flying around, I think. Out, back across Naito Saito. Puts it high. And South Africa, when wearing a green jersey, come and be strong. I think there is a fuel in that jersey. Oh. He's not jumping, says Juan Cruz Malia, asking for a penalty in his favour, but it is the knock-on against the Argentines. On your shoulder, says Sam Steele. I'd hope not. I saw it. I think it's a moth, says Bystander. And he loved him so much he followed him to Japan, says Ian Foster. And Master Tony Brown. 4 minutes remaining. We do see there Pablo Matera. Looks frustrated with the fact that he isn't still out there on the field for Los Pumas. Currently 58% possession in favour of Argentina. So they've had a lot more of the ball. They have scored one more try than the Japanese in this contest so far, scoring the early try of Mateo Carreras, and then also the even earlier try of Santiago Shoja Perez. Now Saito onto the left-hand side. Matsushima across. Lameki's just lost his footing again. He was sensational in that last game. Couldn't put a foot wrong, and now in this game, his own feet seem to be the thing that's tackling him. Now Saito off now to Shota Hori. Good bump off. The challenge of Juan Martin Gonzalez. Now this has been called as a rolling maul. Argentina trying to trap it, but it is available now for Naito Saito. Going off to the short side. Matsuda gets a pass away to Nakamura. Nice flick pass from Dylan Riley. Had the option on the inside. Going himself here. Offloaded on the one more. And it's Saito who scores it. That's how quickly Japan are able to score. I couldn't even say their names in time for all the passes that had taken place. But it was a brilliant bit of work from Sio Saya Fafita, who is out on the left wing. And nice ball on the inside to Saito to score the try. Japan back in it now just before the end of the first half. The final, South Africa and New Zealand, says Hurian. Two match is crazy speed, says Ian Foster. And also both teams are very capable, says Stahl. They certainly are. A great inside ball from Fafita to get it to Saito. Sells the dummy. Juan Cruz Malia. You only cover the rugby games. We do a little bit of rugby league as well, which is going to be probably on the sport channel rather than the main one, just because if we end up with a copyright strike, it would mean we aren't able to cover the rugby union. So yeah, it would be over on the Kiwi Lad Sport. Anyone who hasn't checked that channel out, be sure to give it a look. We've also covered a bit of cricket in the past. We do the rugby sevens. And other than that, we haven't gone too far out from those ones, but we've got a few other games that do pop up every once in a while. A good psychology score for Japan. Exactly right. They were able to, well, that's the thing. Their 2 tries have been very good ones. I feel like that is a massive bonus for them because as long as they're getting tries and they're getting them well, like, they'll be happy enough, I would think. But what we will do is anyone who wants to subscribe to the Kiwi Lads Sport, just in case we do end up covering the rugby league over there, there's also a few other random videos on that channel. So if you do enjoy the occasional random one, be sure to check that out. Maybe the Wallabies should start playing cricket and the Aussie cricketers rugby, says Fluffy. Going to be kicked up high now. And long, the kick was over from Japan, I should mention. So now 14 points to 15, the score as it currently sits. If Japan win, I'll sub, says Jack Hoopy. Back into the pocket, 25 seconds remaining. Japan looking for the touchline, which does mean Argentina will have the last attacking play of the half. Maybe the Wallabies, I read that one, didn't I? The Pumas were down the Blossoms in the last, or the Pumas will down the Blossoms in the last 20 minutes, says Marlon. There's some excellent tries in this game, says Brian. Yeah, it's been a fast-paced, enjoyable one. So far, we have got a donation from Arthur as well with the super sticker. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciate it. And the super sticker, for anyone wondering, is a wait for it in there as well. Now stolen at line-out time by Argentina. I believe that's the first time, by Japan. That's the first time Argentina have lost one of their own line-outs. Dylan Riley goes for the grub from behind, but he is giving it straight back to Santiago Herreras. Now I believe Argentina, they don't seem like they want to put this ball into touch. They would rather go with one last attack. Well, it looks like Burrano almost shut down now Montoya, running straight sideways. Japan should have held on to it for the last 30 seconds. This is going to be a tough contest. They do kick it into touch there, Argentina. And that is now going to make the score 15 points to 14 in favour of the Pumas. The crowd are booing only because they wanted to see a lot more of this rugby action. What's a South African rand? So yeah, it's South African rand, which I believe the conversion, if I'm not wrong, is about, I believe it's a tenth of it is a New Zealand dollar, if I'm correct. You need to go white baiting, bro, says Ian. Well, I went fishing the other day and we didn't catch anything. And the only thing I almost had happen was I almost got attacked by a seal. So, yeah. We got there, Ivan, it says show the match. That's the first time we've had like a proper show the match comment in probably like a few months. Even throughout this whole Rugby World Cup, I don't think I've seen anyone say show the match rather than asking where they can watch it. But sadly, due to licensing, we're now unable to show any match footage or audio or else they get angry at us. Where were you fishing? Says Dylan, it was kind of in a, what would you call it? It's not quite, I don't even know what it's called. It's pretty much like a box, I guess is the big thing about it. It's like where it connects to the sea and then there's like almost a lake type thing and then a slight river next to it, but the river doesn't really run because the box was closed, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like well, not a stream because it's quite big. Water, says Kurt. It's a good start, isn't it? We have got there Julian Moses, says Cedric, and also we got their fish and chip shop, says Ian, and also the Christmas there from Flanders, and also Japan figuring out Argentina, says Philippines, and also if Japan play the quick ball rugby they like, unless ever they could possibly cause an upset, says Flanders. Yeah, I think both of these sides, I think this is the perfect example of both teams are still in it. Because Argentina came in as about $1.18 favourites, I believe, if I'm not wrong. A lagoon, kind of, but not quite. It's a weird body of water, I'll be honest. I don't understand how there's fish in it, but there are. So Japan are $3.40 underdogs. at the moment, which is less than they did start at fish tank, says Kerr. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? Unless, of course, you don't have any fish. I need to visit New Zealand, make some travel videos for my channel. Says Go Travel Planet. Well, if you want someone to be a companion on one of your trips around, I mean, there's nothing here, though. Like, our local area, there's hardly anything. But, yeah, I'd take you fishing if you want. I don't catch anything, but it's worth a go. Fly fishing for sea run mullet. Says Fluffy. And I, Hamish, after watching last night's match, I think Ireland have the edge on the ABs. 650 viewers and 29 likes. Come on, people. Says Brian, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Do you cover netball, says Cobra? I do not know. There was actually a time when, during the Netball World Cup, I was trying to get my nana onto the live streams. I feel like that would have been pretty awesome, doing like a co-commentary, because she loves her netball. So I was going to get her on for the channel, although you guys probably would have scared her big time, I have to say. And I was like, I'll be a pimp. Says Ian, and South Island fjords are amazing. Says Kerr, and I'm in the state. Says Dendal there, and the river runs through Montana. Says Fire 2, and Go Japan, says Eddie Jones. Although, if Japan do well, Eddie, you won't get a job with them. So you almost kind of need them to do badly, or else you might miss out on the coaching gig. A bad day fishing still beats a good day at work, says Leon. True. I'd take it. It's similar to some people don't feel the same way about golf. You know, a bad day on the golf course, even though it's frustrating, it's still like nice in some regards. Unless it's raining, then it kind of sucks. New Zealand has beers. Says Yetta, do we? Where are the beers? And also, please cover curling. It's about to make an impact across the world, says Bystander. I've actually been curling before, believe it or not. We went for a school trip. Myself, Isaac, one of the other Kiwi lads, and then a couple other students. We did a bit of curling down south, I think it was, in like a big random room. Nana doing netball would be awesome. Says Cobra with a K. Also, we have got there, where are you in the state? Says Dendal. So I am, wait, you're talking about the stadium behind me, or whereabouts am I in New Zealand? The South African rand used to be stronger than the US dollar. With the alright people in charge, says Stull. Absolutely love the Fjordlands. And Hamish, can you explain why New Zealanders have a historic obsession with skid mark undies? Heard so many Kiwis talk about it. I have not heard many talk about it. Golf is the best way to spoil a good walk, says Kerr. Although, when I saw there was a golf simulator on the ship, I got all excited because I haven't used one of those before. Apparently, they've got them in pubs now around New Zealand. Are you going to buy an erect desktop microphone? Says Ian, not anytime soon, I don't think. The budget, first of all, was going to be for a chair. Then the next thing was going to be to try and upgrade a desk so I can get a standing desk just because I sit way too much. And then, yeah, I guess after, well, of course I have to get a phone. There's quite a few things that I have to try and save up for first, but I don't think a new microphone as of yet is on the cards, mainly because this one doesn't seem to be broken yet. The Moff is sitting in section B, third seat, 156. Says Bystander, ex-golf in Christchurch, worth a hit. Says Sam Steele, and Norway also exceptionally good. Says Kerr. They are just showing some of the highlights of that first half. Of course, the try of the half had to go to Amato Vakatava. 13 tackles made by Shota Hori. We've also seen the most meters made by Fafita out of any player. Can you pause for a minute? I'm going for a piece, says Ian. Although, you can pause on your end, Ian, if you want, and then watch me in like 2 times so that you catch back up. Mike says, okay, this end. And as we go there, a standing desk with under desk treadmill. Says Kerr, I vote microphone for Hamish's birthday. Although, like, in terms of microphones, I have got 4 at the moment. So I feel like microphone, we're pretty safe for now, because we got in fact, we got 2 of that type. Then we got 2 that are sitting out in the shed that we use for a podcast that we filmed, but then the audio corrupted, so we didn't get to release it. That was actually a Christmas special with all 4 of the Kiwi lads. Even with bad audio, it's interesting enough. And standing desk with under desk treadmill, that would be an interesting combo. I feel like I'd forget to walk though and fly off the back. But it would be good for multitasking. This one going to test your knowledge, says Taffy there. And how many times have you seen Once We're Warriors? I think maybe only like once. Maybe, if I'm lucky. And I know that that's probably quite bad. I haven't seen Lord of the Rings and I'm from New Zealand, so that normally surprises people. Good day to you, Hamish says. Daffy, good day to you as well, mate. 10 defenders beaten by Argentina. In fact, 12 by Argentina. No, sorry, 12 to Japan, 10 to Argentina. In this contest, few more extra running meters for Los Pumas, so 272 compared to the 235 that we have seen from the Japanese. I'm here, where are the other members? Says EB in there as well. And also, if ABs win this Rugby World Cup, then New Zealand have the Black Ferns World Cup, both men and women's rugby sevens too, says Laurie. Standing desk with the treadmill. I'll be so progressive, says Bystander. Oh, I'm stripper for his B-Day, cheap and functional, says Fluffy. That's what I've got in my office at home, says Kerr. That'd be a cool setup. Although, do you ever forget to walk, Kerr? Like when you're on it? I feel like I'd look like such a snazzy bloke, wouldn't I? I seem like I'm multitasking big time. But 90 tackles made by Japan, only missing the 10. That has been a little bit of the difference between the two sides. The 87% tackle success rate for the Japanese in this game compared to 75% of Argentina's. Do they have cucumbers, Hamish? Are they expensive? I make pickled gherkins with them, then hamburgers, says Stull. I don't know how much a cucumber is. I haven't bought a cucumber in a while. So I'm not too sure. I know that lettuce at the moment in New Zealand is very expensive, which is unfortunate. And also rugby, one position game, Argentina Rugby 2 position, says Eric. And just have it on slow speed and do 30 minutes walking, then 30 minutes standing throughout the day, says Kerr. I'm going to have to go for an upgrade, aren't I? Are you wearing the suit for all the finals, Hamish, says Laurie? We certainly are. Every single match, we'll have the suit on from this weekend onwards. And have they fishing in Montana? Says Fire2. And also, what's this group looking like, fella? Says Taffy. So at the moment, the way that it stands, we'll go like that. Is that the right one? Yeah, it is. So whoever wins this game goes through to face Wales in the quarterfinals. England have got themselves secure. They will be facing off against either Fiji or Australia, depending on whether or not Fiji can get themselves 1 point in their game up against the Portuguese. Because, of course, with head-to-head, they would go ahead of the Australians. If it was based off points differential, though, Fiji could not afford to lose that game by 7, or else then it gets a little bit more interesting and it would be all tied up. But then still Fiji would go through due to the head-to-head. But, yeah, that game is the last one that has taken place. That is actually happening in 7 hours' time, ladies and gentlemen, alongside Tonga versus Romania, which is the next game around the corner. 3 kilometers an hour casual stroll means it doesn't affect typing or mouse movement. It just keeps me moving and massively lowered back pain, says Kerr. How much is a walking or like a mini, what would you type in to find one? Like a mini desk treadmill? Maybe? Is that what you'd type in? Oh, those things are pricey. Like the minimum one with like a folding walking pad smart treadmill without the frame or with the frame is $750 from Mighty Ape. That's on special, down from $829, which I guess is a bonus, but yeah, that might be a down the line thing. I would like to see you maybe at the next World Cup commentating in Australia, Hamish. Says Laurie, it would be quite cool to go to some of the games for the Rugby World Cup. I guess we got a bit of time to keep building because that's the thing. This is our first Rugby World Cup now. Buy it now, Hamish. Says Ian, I do not have that kind of money, Ian, to be able to spend on a mini treadmill. And geez, that's insane, says Daffy. And of course, she poisoned them, says Philippines. But the problem is, to have the treadmill, you also need the standing desk. And I think the standing desk is about that same price. So, desk is electric with memory function. So got position stored for walking and sitting as I allow myself 1 hour sitting time throughout the day. The desk was 150 Great British pounds and the treadmill was 100 Great British pounds, says Kerr. It must be cheaper over there, I guess, because like you would struggle to get a standing desk with like the motorized positional switching for less than like 700 here. But I think even the cheap ones are 650 from the warehouse. Geez, that's insane, says Taffy. And go, says Ian there. And Robert, member for 6 months, a zinger stacker burger looked good, delicious. Getting hungry again. Did that? It didn't come through, did it? One moment. I'll have a look through. Did it come through? It doesn't look like it's come through on my chat by the looks of it. And slow speed is ideal while working cardio. And also, yes, the All Blacks have bet your money on the World Cup results and triple it, says Ian Foster. I just used the stripper for a disc. Give over a super chat so we can buy it, says Taffy there. And then buy one tonight. Yeah, but the thing is, I am terrible at predictions, as you know, Ian. So I would probably end up in a further away position of being able to buy such a disc. Maybe by the next World Cup. We'll try and get one. Get sleep and drink kava, says Fire 2. And oh yes, oh, let's go back home. Island 1 next, says Eddie there. Now they are just showing Temu. Shop like a billionaire is their slogan. I don't know why I said they buy one, get one free, says Francois. Just showing the highlights once again throughout that first half. Some brilliant work from the Japanese to fire back with a try of their own. It looks like you're wearing a sombrero, the stadium behind you. Does a bit, doesn't it? I feel like it's sitting at the right stage. I got a cowboy hat over there. Don't ask why, but there's just one over there for special occasions. Both countries are bad, says Ian. I disagree. I think both sides have put on a very good showing so far throughout this Rugby World Cup. A lot of entertainment value throughout that first 40 minutes, and I think that both of them will really challenge Wales in the quarterfinals next week. So it should be entertaining. The winner of that Wales versus the winner of this game, of course, will move on to the semis to then take on New Zealand or Ireland. But one moment, I am about to sneeze. There we go, we are back and can't wait for the AB's Island. You put your money on New Zealand if Moonga is leading. Says Sam Steele and give, or Taffy, give Hamish super chat so you can buy it. Hamish won't. He spends it on the channel, says Stull. No, Hamish, I'm late for the game. I had some internet problems all sorted out now. It's closer than I thought it's going to be, says Smoking RSA every day. And I agree. We just look at our history, says Fleshin. Oh, sorry, that was actually Ian there. We've got there 650 New Zealand dollars for the desk and treadmill setup. Do it, do it, do it. Is it? Where did you find that from, Kerr? That it was like standing desk with it going like that one. I know that they're normally 650 by themselves over here. Now nicely taken. Just outside of the 22. Gonzalo Berrano rolling the ball back. And both sides playing with 15 at the moment, I should mention. What's the difference between a teabag and Ireland? A teabag stays in the cup longer. Joking, joking, says Laurie. Look up, chat. I gave you websites. Says Kerr. Oh, nicely taken by Juan Martin Gonzalez. Gets wrestled down. And now Lameki boots it in behind once more. Sling and pass across for Argentina. And it seems to be any time that Japan kick the ball back to Los Pumas, that is when they are the most dangerous. Yet to see you leave for a toilet break during your live streams. Impressive of the amount of water you consume, says Bystander. I have to be very strategic with my timing, that is for sure. One more, I'll look up the chat as well. The second 40, but currently 39 minutes remaining and only 1 point splitting these two teams. So it's anyone's contest. I think she meant your accent, says Fire 2. And I also hope Ireland will make the finals. And does the Samoa Super Rugby team still exist? They do not know. But I would like to see a Super Rugby team in the future. It would be quite nice to see maybe a Japanese side in there somewhere. It's whether or not they do it, though, is a different story. I think they're more likely to bring Japan into the Rugby Championship. Nice run, offloaded on the inside. And I feel like this is once again another example of Argentina and Japan being on a similar level at times. Now, Amato Bakatava scored a try in that first half and a sensational one. It certainly was. Lameki gets back up to his feet. Looks like there might be an injury for Julio Montoya here. If they lose Montoya and Matera in one game, that is massive. Just steal 4 scissor tire jacks. Make your own. You get the sound down, or you got the sound down already, says Peter. Now out the back line. Numbers not taken cleanly by Emiliano Boffelli. So now Matsushima has got it available with the knock-on advantage in favour of the Japanese. Short ball from Saito goes to Michael Leach. Japanese player down. I believe that is Matsushima now with what could be a match-ending injury, if not season-ender. There are 2 players down on the turf at the moment, one for each side, that may have just ended their World Cups. Over the ball, penalty won by Argentina. Right, we're going to have a bit of a stoppage here due to all of the injuries. This is probably the best match of the Rugby World Cup, says Wesley. 650 for a setup. As a bargain, gaming chair is 800. So it's going to tell you what, that would be like sitting on nothing, wouldn't it? Or like sitting on a cloud. Right, we will go like this. There is going to be a sub here. Looks like Matsushima, it's a knee injury. I looked on Instagram, Kerr, but I realized you meant No, did you mean Discord? No, I don't think the link came through. You might have to send it through Discord and said, right, we're going to see Montoya go off now. Okay, yep, Montoya sounds like he's gone off for an HIA. Hamish, well, do you think the Japanese would be against the ropes? Or did not think the Japanese would be against the ropes? Just came from work. Let's get it, says Manus. And no game is easy, says Penny Lane. I was in this chat. I seen it on Discord. Hangfire says Kerr in there as well. I'm probably going to lose my voice before the end of today. In fact, it's already trying to disappear, which is not good. Oh, Ben O'Keefe said water off, please, so we better listen. But the spaceship behind you, says Fire 2. And Argentina must win this game. They are the only other team who have 100% players from that country, says Sue. I continue on back from doing a wee, says Ian there. Yeah, quite a few players making their way off the field there due to injuries. It's not what you want to see this close to a Rugby World Cup quarterfinal. I feel like that is the kind of game-changing momentum or competition-changing momentum that both sides do want to avoid. Independence Day Part 3 says Fluffy. And also, who would you say will win? I still feel like it's going to be either side by 5 or less. At the moment, I'd say the momentum, to be honest, does feel like it's in Japan's favour. But Argentina are the side that when they counter-attack, they have looked the more dangerous. All right, mate, how much time is left? Who do you think will win, says Ashley. So currently there are 36 minutes remaining in this contest between the two sides. Now, nice rolling maul here for Argentina. You say the Japanese, but there is only 4 Japanese players in their national team. Almost just like New Zealand, says Johan. Yeah, they're Japan. They're the nation. They put on the jersey. So we call it how it is. Now, Burrano going across now to Mateo Carreras. Not quite able to go through. Does well to lure in a couple of the defensive line. Carreras again having the snipe. This time it was Santiago rather than Mateo. Crema met by Shota Hori, who tries to hold him up, but it is now going to reach the ground. Player flying in. I think that was Thomas Lavanini. It sounds intense. Argies, a hard yucca, says Sam. And also France versus New Zealand. Oh, sorry, France versus South Africa. New Zealand versus Ireland is criminal, as they planned a team who have never won a World Cup to win it, says Chronic. Now Bertrano again going to the short side. Carreras take it down on the 22, up to 8 phases now, and we can hear the Argentine. In fact, that's the French national anthem being sung. Just kidding, not serious about my outlet, says Johan. Now around the side, Montoya. I thought he went off with an injury, but he must have got up, unless it was Thomas Gachot maybe, who took the head knock. No, he's still there too. Whoever it was must have got up pretty quickly. And behind. A big number. Okay, it was Francisco Gomez Cordella, I think, who was down, because they have made the replacement at tight head prop. Berrano asking for the penalty and does receive it. And Hammy, you sound now diplomatic in your prediction, says Peter Williams. Yeah, I honestly feel like neither of these sides have won this game as of yet. So there's a good chance. Oh, flat ball. Santiago Chocabarez gets it off. Mateo Carreras steps around the defensive line. He will score another try now for Argentina. That is his second of the contest. That was interesting. Shout, how do you tell a Welshman or a Scotsman born in England? They're not from their home countries. Says Fleshin, and Argentina scored. Says Wesley, they certainly did. And it was a great bit of work. First of all, the starting run from Mateo Carreras. I believe he had the ball in about the second phase and now scoring it on the 10th. Big, flat run. Japan can still come back. They certainly can. This game is a match of inches. Either side still have a very good chance of going on and getting themselves the win. Oh, it was the wrong button. I'm not sure if it's a legit site, Kerr. It should be, although, because I see that same disc for like $700, like the exact same design, but it could be legit, maybe. That kick has gone over though, curling around beautifully, making the score 22 points to 14 now. And also imagine the winner is determined by a drop goal, says Wesley, and another great try. There has been some cracking tries from both sides, says Brian. In there as well. You can see the celebration from the Argentine side. That's part of the fun, mate. Yeah, it is. You end up with like a little tiny table that shows up in a treadmill for a hamster. But that hamster would have a great time, I'm sure, and it would be very fit. Are they squeaked in? Well, that squeaked in, says Brian. And also, Pumas will not disappoint. Rugby championships, they must win here, says Safini. Now kicked in behind. Santiago Shochabares. We are currently sitting 48 minutes into the contest, so still time remaining, but with an 8-point lead, those early three that they were able to get Argentina might actually pay more dividends in this game than first anticipated. Taking a quick throw was Matsushima. Now gets across to Lemeki. And Johannes Sanchez on the bench. He certainly, it's a nice stepping attempt there from Dylan Riley. In fact, for anyone wondering about who is off the bench, here is the list of the two sides. So Nicolas Sanchez at number 22, Matthias Maroni, the other replacement back. And then Matthias Alimano, he has already made his way onto the field, as well as Abasho. That is due to the injury of Francisco Gomez Cordella, I believe. And then also the injury of Pablo Matera is why Alimano is on the field. For the Japanese, I don't think they've made too many changes as of yet, other than in the front row of Sakate, Miller, and Ivalu. Other than that, though, I think those are their only changes. Maroni too, great. Says, was there from Eric, and I'm a Viking Kerr. Says Penny Lane, and Coach Checker says the Wallaby, and Hammy Hamster. Says Fluffy. Run forth from Rubiolo. Renault, it's taken back, cannot kick this one into touch on the full. Ben O'Keefe trying to tell them, and he still kicks it out on the full. So we'll be going right back to where it was kicked from mistake. And now it is going to be Japan with the line out throw from about 22 metres from the line. Eddie Jones could have been the Pumas coach, but Checker beat him to the fence, says Laurie. An ankle tap, says Wesley there. And I was like, yep, says Krampus. But yeah, Ben O'Keefe warned him probably 4 times, saying, don't take it back. Don't take it back. Or it's been taken back, and then he still kicked it out. Have you ever watched someone eating oysters and chips? I have not, no. I'd like to watch myself eat fish and chips tonight, maybe, if I am still awake, which I think I will be. And I was just curious. After that, Valiant comment says, good, nice flat run from Matsushima. 10 metres out from the try line now. For the Japanese looking to close this gap to less than 8. It's ripped away. Argentina try and clean it up. It will be the knock-on, though, against Los Pumas. Now the Japanese with, I believe in the midfielder was Nakamura with that carry. Craig Miller doesn't get too many metres, taken down early by Rubiolo. No advantage. This time for another knock-on from the Japanese, from the Argentines, and that will actually be a penalty to Japan now. About 10 metres out from the line, they could take this to get within the 8, or they can go for the corner, or maybe the scrum. Try and get themselves right back into the contest. I believe the safe option here, though, is to take the 3 points. It's on offer, it's straight out in front. They will go for the post here. Do Argentina have to win with a bonus point or not, says Ashley? Not at this stage. They have scored 3 tries. If they score 1 more, they will get the bonus point. And take the point, says Wesley. Yep. This is what it's like, says Ian. And come on, Japan, says Laurie. And Australia are going to face Scotland at the airport, says Wesley. And take the points that can draw. Yeah, and in the end, although if it's a draw, Argentina still go through, I should mention. Now, Warner Durns, he is on there for Japan. Penalty tap and go, sorry, would be good, says Brian. Now, Matsuda, it's the kick over, making it within the 5 points now between these two sides. It has been a hard-fought match throughout the first 51 minutes, and we still have another 29 remaining. Do see there, Amato Fakatava, his day is done. They're just showing the highlight of his chip and chase down the wing, scoring the try. And I mentioned about it, probably the best Japanese try that we have seen throughout this Rugby World Cup, and they have had some pretty good ones along the way. He made 12 tackles, he scored a try, and had 56 metres made from his running. Battered oysters and chips after 4 jugs. It's the law, says Fluffy. A sensible decision, I suppose, says O'Brien. Now, Matsuda from inside of his 22 kicks it downfield. Does fine touch in Argentina, opting to avoid the quick throw. A good option, Japan, says Peter, and also Japan need to recruit more Koreans. Unless Korea can start their own team. They actually do have a team. South Korea did take part in the Rugby World Cup qualification games. I believe they lost in the series between them, Hong Kong, and Malaysia, which then meant Hong Kong went on to face the Tongans, and that is how Tonga qualified for the Rugby World Cup. Now, Carreras, short ball from Santiago Chocobares, currently on the halfway line. Looks like there's a lot of attack and urgency at the moment from Mateo Carreras to get into the position in the back line. The ball was knocked down. The kebab's nice and done, as Hamish says. Laurie, I haven't actually had a kebab in Dunedin, but I might be going to Dunedin in about February next year, so I might have to try it out. See if they're any good. We sadly don't have kebabs here, which is quite sad. Now, nice take from Emiliano Boffelli. High balls have definitely been an advantage of Argentina, whether that's Juan Cruz Malia or some of the forwards who have also opted to jump up and contest for them. They have found nice bit of success. Now, Crema, that is going to be knocked on. Small out so you can buy a new phone. Says Go Travel Planner. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. But yeah, the new phone. I'm hoping this one lasts for a little while, because if it doesn't, then I will be in trouble. But yeah, hopefully it lasts a little bit longer. Although it goes from 100% to 1% in about, I'd say, 30 minutes. Only 4 stitches, mate, says Johan. And also we have got there, Parrot can speak English, doesn't make it English, says Crumpus. And close game, says Irvin. And Kobe Beef's beef again for me next week, says Kerr. I'm trying to think of the fanciest bit of meat that I've had, and it's probably only really a ribeye or a sirloin. No, not a sirloin. A eye fillet. Ooh, that's a bit fancy. Santa comes soon after birthday time, says Kerr. I think me and the courier are going to become best friends, aren't we, Kerr? I sound like I'm going to be seeing him quite often over the next couple of months. Lamani Lameki, close to the touchline, just stays. He is balled up so that he can stay just inside of the field. Oh, Ivalu. No room for him to be able to run forward, but does find the offload away to Saito. Gives it to Miller. Wide cut-out pass from Matsuda. Now out to Fafita, who we have only seen really throughout this game. Another beats a rear ribeye. Says Fleshin. I tried beef Wellington, Hamish. Says Laurie. I haven't actually tried a beef Wellington before. That's the one in pastry, isn't it? If I'm not wrong. Not supporting body weight. Drop kick attempt here for Japan. He struck that one very well. And it has gone over from Lamani Lameki. They've saved themselves the chance of going for the corner by getting the drop goal over. And that will now take the score to 20 points to 22. Japan are back within 3 now, ladies and gentlemen. And the Japanese never get involved in handbags, says Brian. And I predicted that, says Wesley. Although you did put drop goal roughly That's the thing. I know that you are slightly ahead because you did put Argentina score before I saw it. So I'll trust that you did predict it, but you also may have just seen it before me. And that's a knock-on from Suzuki Hamino and a knock-on from Argentina as well. And now Japan first knock will mean that Argentina have got the scrum feed from about 22 metres out from the try line. And come on, Argentina, and Grant has set a second ribeye, or rear ribeye is better, says Grant. Did you know you're a member of the channel now, Grant? You did get gifted a membership yesterday or the day before, I believe. Someone gifted 5, and you were one of the lucky recipients of said gift. And also, this is a cracker, and give me some lotto numbers, Wes, says Tawera. And also, come on, Argentina, says Gareth. There we worked at a place, me and my father. I got a lamb rib for free. So we are going to Bright today, says Ashley. And how many members in the Kiwi Lads team, says Regine. In terms of the, I guess, the on-screen Kiwi Lads, we've got 4. But, yeah, it's been quite a while. The last one we had on the channel was probably George. He was on for Summer Super Rugby. And then after that, before that, we had Isaac as well has been on the channel. I'm talking to Isaac tomorrow, though, I think. Aslan, you're welcome, says Kerr. And there as well. And possibly the most beautiful woman on the planet is Okinawa Girls. And both teams deserve to go through and not England, says Sam. But that's the thing, like both of these sides have put in a showing here that says Wales in the quarterfinals is going to be a competitive game. And I hope that that is the case. That question mark of how many injuries, I'm joking, wasn't me on this occasion, says Kerr. Yeah, although you have gifted a few in the past as well, haven't you, Kerr? So I feel like it's that it goes around, doesn't it? So you probably, like Grant probably thanked you for one that someone didn't thank you for. Very, very close games, says Irvin. And also, what's up, guys, says Just Carl. Other YouTube decides on who the members is assigned. It's random, says Bystander there. And I wonder if Argentines enjoy the sushi. It's going to be out wide. And Emiliano Boffelli will be enjoying a try here. And he is fired up, shouting to the crowd. But Argentina again will increase their lead. 27 points to 20, paying it forward. Says Flesh and South Africa versus France is going to be competitive. And also we have the Argentina scored. So he is one who, of course, is ahead, who does enjoy a good spoiler. I think that was the same with the sevens, wasn't it? You do enjoy putting it before we do see it, which is why you got timed out and then you got very angry about it. Our WDF match begins, says Jody. Are currently sitting 27 points to 20 in between these two sides. Why do I feel either of these teams can beat Wales? Says Flesh and well, because they possibly can, Flesh. And I feel like it's going to be a very competitive game next week. And a great way to start the quarterfinals. Of course, New Zealand Ireland going to be the second match that does take place. How to watch this online, any link, says Delacha. It depends on whereabouts you are in the world. But if you go on to the Rugby World Cup website, you can then look at the options of where you can watch it. Don't think either can beat Wales, says Gareth. Ooh, it's going to be a bit of a banter session in the Discord. And yes, but it's strange when someone is asking about membership, they appear to be the first to receive a gifted membership, says Kerr. And it also does seem to be the ones who are on the channel relatively regularly that receive it, if that makes sense as well. Like, it doesn't seem to often be the names that we haven't seen put a whole heap of messages in the chat. And also, we have got their beauty woman, looking more beauty, different Argentina girl, says Eric, and Argentina keeping that lead. Score every time Japan gets close, and they have been able to convert the kick as well. The Springboks are in a league of their own. Are they going to make history and win a 4th World Cup? Says Freedom and Truth. And also, no, they most definitely won't beat Wales. Says Peter Lowe, and the Chileans have been stealing cows from Argentina. Says Fatu. Do they do drug testing in the Rugby World Cup? I would assume so. There would be the drug protocols the sides have to go through. I've been in there twice, or once or twice in the past, says Grant. Maybe it knows your name from your other account. Or maybe you've been lurking a bit, Grant. Because I know that you hadn't put any messages when you got the membership the other day, but you must have been watching. Do you think South Africa can win France? Says Ashley. I think it will be a good game overall, and we are going to be doing a selection video in the near future. I believe it's 24 hours or so from, or actually about maybe 28 hours from now. Myself and Rugby Itch will be doing our video, but if I do get time beforehand, I might have a video come out of an adjusted starting 15. I did go with one that I picked mainly off form, and people got angry about it. So I am going to go with one that I think is more likely to be a finals lineup rather than just what I would love to see based on form. And WQ, well done, Laurie. And there as well, says bystander. One moment, something's happened, hasn't it? Ah, yes. It says the gifted membership, and Laurie is now a channel member. There you go. See, I don't know what the trend is, because Laurie, the last message wasn't like that long ago. Gutting for whoever loses this game was the last message. So I think it's just completely randomized. So I guess it is quite cool that the regulars are the ones who end up with the memberships in there. Now, Japan forced close to the touchline and the ball is pushed out. Just making a little mistake there on the 22. Dewey Lake was being drug tested in the presser after the game yesterday. Gets set. Says Fleshin. Is there a chance Wales will lose? More chances Scotland will qualify. I think different than what you smoking, says Daddy is their name. And I was like, well, this game is very tough on both sides. Oh no, there is an injury, says Erwin. You've seen quite a few. I think for the membership, much love, says Laurie there. And did Argentina score again? They did score most recently with Emiliano Boffelli, making it 29 points to 20. And now Argentina on the 22 will have themselves another line-out throw. Trying to slap that one away, it was Michael Leach. I'm actually going to have a quick look and see what my original prediction for the score in this game was. I wonder, my gifted membership can go to a person I blocked? Says Kerr. It's a good question. Yeah, that would be weird if it could though, wouldn't it? Because I feel like that would be the ultimate like YouTube trolling you, is it giving it to someone who you can't see gets it. And thank you, Kerr, says Laurie. And my prediction is South Africa pulling off an upset, says Irwin. And that's a good game, says Flesh. And yeah, it's been a back and forth encounter between these two sides. 27 points to 3, says Knight there. And could have watched the Scotland-Ireland game to the end. Ireland looked the biz, says Cal Mack. They are just showing the way that the table currently stands. It would mean that Argentina would go through and they would be taking on Wales in the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. And that will be the first game that has taken place. So quite a quick turnaround for these two sides, actually playing in only 6 days' time. Thanks for my membership, says more of that, please. But I'm still here, says Krampus. And there, and another penalty this time does go in favour of the Japanese. And also, we're there, hi mate, says Jack Rose, welcome in, hope you are doing very well. We've got 2 more games later on tonight as well, ladies and gentlemen. I should mention Tonga versus Romania, and also the last game, Fiji. They will be taking on the Portuguese. For this game, I predicted, okay, I was quite harsh. I predicted Argentina 43, Japan 17. But I can tell you right now, this game looks like it is going to be a lot closer than that, unless, of course, the Argentines can defend this rolling maul of the Japanese and score themselves maybe a counter try. Then we might be not a mile off. And also, no more north of Africa, says Tatiana. What happens if Japan, to Japan, do they go home? They will, yes, if they do lose this game. They've gone to the front, though, with the line out straight to Michael Leach, 15 metres from the try line. This rolling maul's being well defended by Los Pumas, although now circling around close to the touchline. That's joining from the side for Rubiolo, probably very lucky not to be penalised. But here comes Fafita, trying to drive for the corner and just manages to stay in the field of play. Now Derns. Looks like advantage against Marcos Krem. Had nowhere he could really roll there. So it does end up getting penalised. And Blessy says Regine now back across to the right-hand side. Matsuda, they have got numbers. Blowing a certain try was Dylan Riley. Got selfish rather than passing it out his backline, but they will still have a decent chance here. Nakamura. It looks like Riley might have hurt himself in the process. They will go back for the original penalty. Come on, Japan, it's slipping away. Scored next. And I am go Japan. In the chat as well from Joseph. Welcome in. And Japan, I pray for a try. What position should you play if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds? Says Ian Foster. I mean, you'll probably be. Out of all the positions, I'd probably give you prop. Probably. I think I'll do a membership giveaway for 38k subscribers, says Kerr there. So yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Very generous of you, Kerr. What did Ben O'Keefe just stand on? I think it was part of a shoelace or something he pulled out from underneath his boot. I doubt it, Krampus. Says Japan Rugby or Japan Rugby up, Argentinian Rugby down, says Eric there. But Dylan Riley had to pass that ball, calling for it on the outside. Nakamura would have scored that probably 9 times out of 10. I think Jamie Joseph shouting into his speaker or his walkie-talkie there should have passed. A baby crying was in the stands and should have passed. And what's your prediction of who will win the Rugby World Cup? At the very start, I did go with the South Africans, but I did actually predict all of the quarterfinals in terms of who would be playing who. Now, I did predict them slightly differently, as I did think South Africa would top their group and France would be second. But, yeah, I have got Wales versus Argentina as that first quarterfinal that I did predict. I predicted Argentina to win, though, and then have them advancing accidentally. Oh, that's the try, Nakamura this time for the Japanese gets over. And Japan are not giving up in this game. Every time they fight back, the backline movement from Japan was strong. They stuck with it. And score is 29 points to 20, although now it's 25 points to 29. The backline set piece. Passing out wide, Nakamura when he's that close to the try line. Here's a hard man to stop. He was calling for it from the get-go. And Juan Cruz Malia unable to push him into touch. And Nemani Nadolo, he's absolutely massive. Says Ian Foster and got it in the end, says Sam Wilson. And there looks like a mouse starting to form above the eyebrow of Montoya. He is not happy. And that is now the third try scored by Japan. They need one more to get the bonus point, but of course bonus points do not matter here. They just need to get themselves a possible win. Don't underestimate the Pumas, Hammy. I think getting better with each game. Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Well, I don't think anyone was underestimating the Argentines for what they've been able to do over the last couple of contests. My score prediction for this game, I said it would be within 5, but my original prediction did have them winning this game by around that 16 mark. In this case, I think it's going to be a lot closer. Where do they score? Says James out near the touchline on Nakamura's wing, and that kick has gone over though. And that will now make the score 27 points to 29 within 3 points once again between these two sides. We've got Go Japan from Japan, says T, and I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Argentina on top, says Puffy Whale. For now anyway, they have had the lead all throughout this game, and now just a little bit between the two sides. The 2 points difference with 13 minutes remaining. This is some game, says Dylan. It certainly is. We knew it was going to be highly contested, and that is exactly what we have had between these two sides. Now it's going to be, I thought that was forward out of the hands of, I believe it would have been Lucio Cinti, but that was pretty close to a knock-on. Argentina still in possession. Sling and pass from Nicolas Sanchez. He could be the game changer near the end of this game. After his man of the match performance up against Chile, through the back line again, Emiliano Boffelli moves up to 20 metres out. I think the problem for Japan is they just don't seem to be able to stop Argentina from scoring. Now off to the side again, buzzing for Les. Going off now short to Juan Martin Gonzalez. And far it just goes to show World Cup as the place for any team to perform. Just those 80 minutes. Fantastic, says Jacob, in the whole World Cup. I'm me through again, Mateo Carreras. Japan cannot stop conceding when Argentina move into the 22, and that will be possibly the match winner. Although there's still 12 minutes to go, I think we're still going to see 2 or 3 more tries throughout this game. But Mateo Carreras getting a hat-trick when it mattered. And now scores. That is actually his 3rd Rugby World Cup try as well. So he hasn't scored up till this point. And give us the intercept try for Japan, says Dylan. And also, Hamish, you didn't respond to my offer yet. A Cape Town trip for you is on me when the Japanese win, says Peter. Although now that Argentine try may take it slightly out of reach now. Not over yet, says Peter Lowe. Exactly right. Anything can happen. Sanchez in. And Jacob McDonald, hey, says Erwin there. And also, I pray for tries, says the Wallaby. And also, no, says Tatiana. And this kick will be straight out in front of the posts. But yeah, you make a good point earlier on, Jacob, about any side on any given day in this World Cup can perform. That is why Portugal versus Fiji later on could end up being a very intriguing game, because if Fiji do get themselves just the 1 point, they will make it through to the quarterfinals. They will face England, who they have already played and already beaten in 2023. But the kick has gone over. Conversion is good. And 36 points to 27 now will be the score. Always lurking, says Jacob. And there's a good game. It's better than watching Scotland getting beat, says Calmac. And also, yet again, Argentina score. And also, Hamish would not want to return to Waimea if he goes to Cape Town, says Grant. Well, you guys probably have, like, food more than just a fish and chip shop. So, yeah, that would be good compared to here. And also, Japan obviously can't defend, so they have to go for it, says Flesh. And, yeah, that's been the thing that's hurt them throughout this game, is the fact that they have conceded a couple easier tries anytime Argentina. Oh, it's a knock-on, though, from just on the 22. Mistake by Rubiolo. And now another chance for Japan to get back into it. And they're knock-on already, says Wesley. I think that's it, to be honest, says Brian. Although with that mistake being made now, just before the 70-minute mark, we got time off because of substitutions. There's some big moments in the later stages. Matthias Maroni now making his way onto the field. And also, I should mention, other than that, I think that's every sub that has now been made. I believe Yamanaka also out onto the field now for Japan. The best food in South Africa is in Cape Town, says Grant. Do you think Australia can make it out of the group? Portugal win against Fiji? They theoretically can, as long as Portugal win by more than 8. But to be honest, I see Fiji being able to dig deep and get themselves the victory in that game. I need to go back to South Africa, says Kerr. And also Japan need to convert a try and a drop goal or a penalty, says Brian. And just as I speak, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Currently a 9-point difference between these two sides. So if they do score, they will need the conversion to then get a little bit closer in the contest. Or they will need another try. We've got there 34-39. Says the Wallaby for the prediction of the score. I have to apologise in advance. I'll be live streaming from the quarterfinals onwards. With some of the viewer counts from your videos, Hamish, have been outstanding. No money doesn't mean much, says Jacob in there as well. But no, it will be awesome to see, I guess, different people's reactions for these quarterfinals, because at the end of the day, like, there's some big matches that are going to be taking place in the rugby world. And yeah, it's just absolutely awesome to see, I guess, the rugby community come together for it. But I'd love to see your analytics for the last 28 days, lol, says Jacob. And there, so you actually planning on streaming the actual match, Jacob, or just the, like, your reaction to it? I assume just your reaction to how stands are. I know they've already been taken down quite a few on YouTube, or Stan Sport have also been striking a few channels. Now, Saito going off to the left-hand side. Kazuki Hamano nicely taken down on the 22. Now Saito again going off to the left-hand side. Driven backwards there. Knock on, though, from the Japanese on the ground. And Japan or Argentina can beat Wales, says Joe D. And also, I really want to see Japan win. But this is the first time I know that Australia goes out in the group stage, says James. And I want to see Ireland versus Wales, says Buffy. So the earliest that can take place is the semi-final. That is, of course, if Wales beat the winner of this contest and then Ireland beat New Zealand in the quarters as well. And Argentina might win by 2 points, says Wesley. And also, who did Japan beat in the last World Cup, says the Wallaby. They had the upset win over Ireland. The World Cup before that, they beat South Africa. So they're pretty good at causing upsets, the Japanese. I think to be able to fight back from 9 points down at this stage would certainly be considered a little bit of an upset as well. But Argentina, they have got themselves a scrum feed. South Africa was also behind like this in the past and caught up. So anything can happen, says Irvin. And just reaction, man, no audio, no audio, which I always like to include. Only commentary, which sucks. But oh well, Stan Sports have become the new Sansa when it comes to copyright, says Jacob. Yeah, we've had a fair share of, I guess, issues in the copyright department over the last little while. But luckily, throughout this World Cup, fingers crossed, we don't end up with anything in the near future. We have got there, which team are you supporting in this World Cup, says Jack Rose. I mean, I've been impartial throughout the whole competition. I think there's been some sides that have really stepped up. Going out of the group stages, we will see 4 teams undefeated, all from the 6 nations, including Wales, England, France, and Ireland. So those 4 teams definitely building their momentum. We've seen sides lose a game in the group stage and go on to win the World Cup. 2019, perfect example. I share the backup channel, Hamish. Says Gareth. So yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to check out the Kiwi Lad Sport. That is the other channel that we have got, just in case anything does go wrong. So be sure to hit subscribe over on that channel as well. Now Buzzin Velez goes back to Nicholas Sanchez, puts the ball up high. So it's going to be contestable. Nicely run onto there by Nika Buller. Jack Rose, he is a mutual. He supports everyone, at least for now, says Irvin. That's why they call Japan the Giant Killers. Says Candice, Japan was playing good, but Argentina has wore them out. I think it's just the defensive errors from Japan that have really been costing them. Nice bit of work from Argentina in the breakdown, almost stolen by Matthias Maroni. Now nice stepping from Kazuki Himeno. In fact, that was Matsuda. Yamanaka now in the midfield with the bleach blonde hair. Timely says Ashley, we have currently got another 7 minutes remaining in this contest. New Zealand's starting to look ominous, says Afsel. High, nicely taken by Juan Cruz Malia, stepping through. Well dragged down by the Japanese fullback Lameki. Now Crema goes to Sanchez. Good attacking run from the Argentine veteran. An advantage in favour of Argentina, but they've kicked it in behind. They'll go back for the original penalty. So this will give them a 12-point lead if they are able to convert. And Nicholas Sanchez, he will back himself if he is given the kick and tee, but more than likely they will stick with Emiliano Boffelli with it being 48 metres out. And Argentina has a bonus point in this match. And also Hamish, the Switzerland of YouTube, says Grant there. And Japan only good due to its foreign players. They're under 20s. As the true Japan getting blown out, says Chuck T. But at the end of the day, like, if you've got eligibility, like any player who puts on the jersey is playing for that nation, aren't they? Like, you can look all around the world and you look historically, there have been a player, or there have been players from every team around the world who have played for a country that they weren't born in, if that makes sense. Or they've had like the ties to other teams. We look at New Zealand, for instance. We look at, I guess, Fiji. Or Fiji probably pretty good overall, I'd have to say. But yeah, most teams have got the foreign players in there as well, which I always find weird to call them foreign because at the end of the day, like I said, they're playing for that jersey, and so in my eyes, they're a part of the team. Nicholas Sanchez now to line up this kick. 5.5 minutes remaining, and that kick has gone over. And now it's going to be 39 points to 27. We have got to appreciate you getting into the comments. With 1,000 viewers, I honestly don't even know the outcome of this match. It doesn't affect anything of this pool. Well, that is something you have to learn before your quarterfinal streams, Jacob. But yes, whoever wins this game goes on to face Wales in the quarterfinals. And that is the first of the 4 quarterfinals that does take place. And group in the pool so easy was just silly. Lesson learned, I guess, is bystander. I've got Argentina by 15, says Grant there. And thank you, Hamish, says Tatiana. And also we have good there, let's go, says Buffy Whale. And there, one more try, Argentina, says Grant. And also, which 2 teams do you see making the final, says Jack Rose? I'll be honest, I think it's going to be probably 2 sides from Pool A and Pool B. Like 2 on that combined side of the draw will make their way through, I believe. Anyway, with what we've seen throughout this World Cup, Springboks all South Africans, says Biff Jones. Although not historically, we have seen Beast, of course, was Zimbabwean. Percy Montgomery, Namibian. But of course, at that stage, Namibia was a part of South Africa. But yeah, Beast from Zimbabwe. It's a good example of a player being from elsewhere. If you're looking at currently, though, South Africa do have all born and bred South Africans. Saito going off to Derns, finds the offload away there to Ken Nielsen. I have to say Japan are still not giving up, even though they're down by 12. They know they need 2 converted tries to be able to get the win in this contest. If it's a draw, it doesn't favour them. It will be Argentina who make their way through. Floating hard is not like people. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, says bystander. Now Derns again finds another offload. Looks like Craig Miller slow to get to his feet. Now a little pop pass up from Kazuki Himeno. Now 20 metres out from the line. Japan playing against a 14-man Argentina due to an injury and back play. Nika Buller finds his offload away. In fact, it was Fafita going to Yamanaka. Up to 9 phases, they'll go back for the original penalty. We have got there, Wales going to walk the winner of this one. Oh, yes, I need to educate myself. It's just too easy to watch Stan Sport 3-minute highlights. Move on, but seriously, 3-minute videos for a whole game seems criminal to me. You're watching Sky Sports. Says Jacob, I am indeed, yeah. But even some of their highlights packages at times are a little bit, I guess, slightly lighter than some people would have liked. I know for that game between New Zealand and Italy, there were quite a few people complaining because they just went from pretty much try to try without any of the build-up involved in it. Jacob Hamish is exceptional. Can comment all day on rugby every day, says Joe D. And also, can you give a shout out to Mike, says Liam. And also, some of the current Springboks are foreign born. They were born on the planet of Pretoria, says Grant. Now, 5 metres out from the line, Japan once again have got a line out. This is the pretty much game-changing moment, I would say. If Japan can score, they're still in it. If Japan do not score, that will be probably the end of their chances of winning this contest. Even if they do lose, Japan will be qualified for the next World Cup, right? Says Gus, that is true. Yes, Samoa, due to not beating England, do not qualify automatically for that next Rugby World Cup competition. 10 metres out from the line, Michael Leach, one of the more experienced players for the Japanese. Now passing back, awkward bouncing ball. There's the knock-on from Japan, and that might just be the contest. Okay, there's not enough time for Japan now, says Brian. And also, I do like NFL Prefer Rugby, and the highlights have been terrible overall, let's be honest. I don't get it. Are they trying to get more money from their subscription service? They should know by now YouTube is where it's at, says Jacob. And that is it, says Wesley. And they lost the ball. Yeah, that might be the moment for Japan that they will come to regret. I have to say, though, throughout this game, what a fixture it has been. Both sides back and forth. Every time that Japan scored, though, the big difference maker was the fact that Argentina, within the next 5 minutes, were able to get themselves that next try that then helped them to keep that lead. And now sitting with a 12-point lead with 100 seconds remaining, unless there's some sort of crazy moment here where Japan are able to get themselves a penalty against the feed, which they almost did. But Ben O'Keefe says we will have another scrum reset. And also Argentina qualified. And GG says Puffy Whale. And also, come on, Argentina, penalty and a droppy or a droppy, please, says Grant. I much prefer the Argentinian away kit, says Dylan. They will be going head-to-head with the Welsh now, ladies and gentlemen, with this result. Though they have still got their last minute to go. Argentine crowd very happy in attendance, singing their hearts out. And it is, of course, what they will be doing next week as well. Along turn down the Dallas Cowboys, says Fire 2, and Wales will walk over Argentina, says Puffy Whale. And good game. What a shame Japan lost, says Timmy. But yeah, they've put on a massive showing in this contest. The sad thing for Japan is, even with the way that the scoreboard sits, they actually walk away from this game with 0 points because they aren't within the 7, and they also do not get the bonus point for getting the 4 tries. Looks like Argentina are not done yet, though. 25 seconds remaining. Juan Cruz Malia goes off to Emiliano Boffelli. They do not want to risk injury here, though. Michael Leach over the ball. They'll go back for the original penalty. And with 15 seconds remaining, I believe by the time he's at the mark, by the time Argentina take that quick tap, it will be the end of the contest. We have got their last question, mate. Give us an idea of your average sleep schedule. That's seriously the thing most interested in. Sadly, says Jacob, well, over this Rugby World Cup, I mean, last weekend we got, I think it was 11 hours sleep over 3.5 nights. I think it was. I got 5 hours one night, 3 hours the next night, 2 hours the next night, and then I think I managed like maybe 7 hours sleep for the end of the weekend. But yeah, not a lot of sleep happening throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. But that is the win, ladies and gentlemen, for Argentina. The ball is booted into touch, and they will advance to the quarterfinals, where they will face the Welsh side in quarterfinal number 1. Now, I have to say, both sides played a great game of rugby. Your initial prediction, I was not so far out, says a Leon there. And Wales over Argentina. And GG's Argentina, says Puffy Whale and there as well. So Argentina, they will be second in the pool. England still at the top. So they will wait for that last game between Fiji and Portugal to find out exactly who they are going head-to-head with for their quarterfinal. But that is the only team now that is not confirmed. Fiji or Australia, that will be the big question. Okay, I'm heading out. Thank you for making my day, mate. Says Jack, no worries at all. And Vamos, give you lads. Vamos says, it was there from Blues down in Argentina. Just got to control their discipline to have a chance against Wales, says Larry. And thrilling game. Thanks, Hamish, says Gus. And there as well, yeah, some of the stats for this game are absolutely huge. 500 meters carried for the Japanese compared to the 463 of Argentina. In fact, that's the other way around. 29 defenders beaten by Japan, 25 beaten by the Argentines. Tackles, we've seen both sides making over the 167 made by the Japanese. You're a legend, mate, to see all the success. I see you in the quarters, says Jacob. Is this my sleep time or after next game, says Kerr? So it is now that you will be best off sleeping, Kerr. The next game does start up in 3 hours' time or somewhere around there. Are you going to stream Romania versus Tonga? We certainly are. So be sure, keep an eye out for that. We will be starting 15 minutes before the game. Look through at the lineups, preview what is to come between those two teams. And then also after that, we have got Portugal versus Fiji, the last game of the group stages that we are covering on the channel. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Even with you yawning, still doing a great job you're doing there, Hamish. And thanks, Hamish's admin. Everyone, great chat. Much love. Every World Cup country, one people, says Laurie. And there as well. But the standout players, I mean, Kazuki Himeno managed to make 21 tackles throughout this contest. Mateo Carreras got himself the hat trick, which in the end was enough to be able to help the Pumas over the line. And also Emiliano Boffelli, 83 kicking meters throughout this contest. Dylan Riley had the 2 offloads, although the big pass that he didn't make was the time when Japan could have had very good chance. Thank you, Hamish, says Jacqueline. I love our Wales still being dismissed. Keep dreaming, boys, says Felicia in there. And also Shop Bro says Philippines. And also we have got there St. George killed the dragon, says Grumpus. And thank you, mate. See you in a while again, says Go Travel Planet. So yeah, anyone who is looking forward to that Tonga-Romania game, it is going to be kicking off in about 3 hours' time, or just under 3 hours, but we will be live on the channel as soon as that game is kicking off, plus 15 minutes beforehand. We will be looking through at all the information. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Anyone who doesn't know, or anyone just tuning in now, Argentina, they are through to the quarterfinals, and they will be going head-to-head now with Wales in the next contest of the Rugby World Cup. But thank you all very much for tuning in. It's been greatly appreciated, all the support throughout these live streams. We're doing every game of the World Cup on the channel, so if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out the sport channel as well. It is that link that I have just put into the description. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.